Petit Le Mans is regarded as one of the most demanding events in all of motorsport, and the drivers in tonight's round 3 of the Apex Racing League Prototype Championship are going to have a taste of what it takes to survive 10 hours of this Georgia circuit. Welcome to Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick. Alongside me is David Sampson. And David, this is such a demanding car track combination because of the narrowness of the circuit, because of the multi-class aspect of it, as well as going from day to night as well. Yep. And these drivers are going to have all of those elements to contend with over the course of the 75 minutes tonight.
Yeah, I mean, pound for pound, it's the best track, I honestly feel. Like you say, it is short, it is demanding. The multi-class is very tight. It's phenomenal. Brings out the best in drivers. Obviously, it is usually a track a lot of drivers have massive amounts of experience at. There's the blind corner in T3. I don't care how experienced you are. It can sometimes surprise you, throw you off. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the LMDh and MP3 speed difference is here. But yeah, I'm very excited for the race. Yeah,
it should be really good. Let's just have a quick reminder of the classes that we have. And of course, these LMDh cars will all be present tomorrow come the Petit Le Mans event. We've got the Acura, we've got the BMW, we've got the Cadillac, and we've got the Porsche. A little bit of a sign that the Acura a bit more pacey this week. It seemed like at Fuji had a little bit of catching up to do. But I think according to Owen Carroll's BOP test for Apex Racing Academy earlier this week, it seemed a little bit more on the pace and a little bit closer between the cars as well.
For sure, yeah. I mean, this is probably one of the closest we're going to see them, the LMDHs this season, this track. I still favour the BMW. I'm not going to lie, it's very well balanced around here. That's the car I'm going to be using tomorrow. But yeah, the Acura's in the fight for sure. Fantastic car around here. Very nimble, very easy to drive.
And of course, we've also got the LMP3 car as well for a few of our drivers to take control of. And I mean, Road Atlanta, it's sort of a circuit which is synonymous with sports car racing. You don't see a whole lot of single seaters around here. Of course, you maybe got the Skip Barber series and maybe a couple of other North American series. And you don't necessarily see a whole lot of maybe touring car action as well. It's not exactly synonymous with that. But it is one of those circuits which is fantastic in every single category of racing. I think they used to host World Championship Grand Prix events on iRacing around here, because if you can get the cars to the circuit, it's going to be fun. That means that both the LMDHs and MP3 drivers will be having a good time at them.
Yeah, so me turning up to this track for the first time in real life, I heard cars going around in the distance. It's quite hilly, this track. iRacing doesn't do it justice how hilly. And I heard what I thought was GTs, very loud race cars. Got there and it's Mazdas, and I was blown away. Yeah, it's like you say, it's just a brilliant racetrack.
It really is. And of course, let's have a quick reminder of the calendar as well. This is the first 75-minute race we have of the season. We've got a couple more later on with Le Mans at round 5. We've also got Monza at round 7. Which will also be a 75-minute race. But yeah, this is the joint longest one. Will require one pit stop, as it has been for all the rounds, but that extra 15 minutes for the tyres to play a part and for the drivers to keep it on circuit as well. Well, shall we have a look at the championship standings so far? And it's been a good start to the season for Kia Thiago Marto, but of course, that lap 1 turn 1 incident last time out where he was leading and got wiped out by Balázs Tarowski at the first opportunity. Did scupper his point scoring, but it was such a good first round of the championship, and he recovered so well that he's still at the summit. Yeah,
it was a brilliant recovery. He kept his head well. But yeah, I mean, these things happen in T1. Cold tyres and excited drivers.
Yeah, Paul Busby with a brilliant performance last night. He managed to win by just a second in the end, and a big points day for him. In the amateur standings at the moment for the LMDHs, it looks like it could well be a repeat of last season, with lots of different drivers scoring race wins, and currently the top 3 just separated by 4 points. Tarowski with a penalty last time out, but he scored big points at Fuji, and that's enough for him to keep the advantage. Ferrari and Cullen rounding out the top 5. And I think David Vey was very impressive last time out at Spa. He was right up there, and yeah, Tarowski with a great qualifying, but yeah, just seemingly just a brain fade right off the start.
Yeah, I mean, these boys are fast. I had the opportunity to race a few of these this week where the IMSA officials have been all week. Yeah, it's fantastic to see them. And even the AM category, we're seeing, like you mentioned, the classes really started to come through. Maybe Fuji wasn't the best track from, you know, first race of the season, jitters, and maybe not the best experienced track on the circuit. I think we're going to see some great racing here.
And in the LMDh Teams Championship at the moment, of course, this involves both the Pro and the AM drivers, and they supposed to score points because it's for your overall points within your car class. And it's currently affect simulations with a small gap over Race Clutch. Martel, of course, gained the bulk of the points so far for that team, and yes, several others as well in play. Perfect Simulations after that race win for Paul Busby last time out, just about leading that one. And in the LMP3 drivers, as it stands, currently got Dan Sedgley, and Sedgley wasn't dominant by any means back at Fuji, but he was fairly formidable last time out. His pace as the race went on just seemed to get stronger and stronger, and dare I say, he's established himself as the solid favourite now going into the rest of the round.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see if Adam can get it together. He does show he's got the 1 lap pace, but we've only had 2 rounds. Let's see. I don't think we can count Adam out. Definitely got the 1 lap pace, but yeah, like you say, Dan really showed that he can go the distance. Very impressive.
And with 3 drivers in the series, Olympus Esports are doing very well. Bit of a disappointing start to the season for EVA SR. They got caught up in all sorts of mess before the race even started. 2 of the EVA SR drivers were out last time due to no faults of their own, and so they've got a bit of catching up to do. No drop scores as well for the team's championship, so yeah, a little bit of catching up to do there, but it is very possible for them to achieve that. And, well, of course, for this round of the championship, it's sort of one that we know very well. All the drivers know very well as well, David.
Very much so.
What makes this circuit so fun, first off, to drive, let alone to race?
Even though it's quite short, I just think the blind corner in 3, like I said, I've done thousands of hours, millions of laps, and it still catches me out. Navigating the S's, nailing the entrance onto the back straight. The last chicane's a brilliant overtaking opportunity and also an opportunity to lose time. And hell, even the pit entry here requires some finesse to nail. I saw many people put it in the wall, and I bet you anything we're going to see some incidents on pit entry. It's just tricky. It's such a short track, so any time velocity in pits feels like a big impact here.
Yeah, it really does. And turn 5, such a tricky corner over the bumps, and so easy to lose. I remember Marco Barbanero saying, one of the broadcasts that we did, someone will always crash at turn 5 during the race, and so far in all the races that I've covered, he has been absolutely correct. So yeah, that will definitely occur. Turn 7, the slowest corner on the circuit, quite a painful one, particularly in the LMDhs to get round, and you blast it on this sort of deceivingly long back straight. It's one of them which sort of is actually, like, it must be close to a kilometre long pretty much, and then of course an amazing chicane at turn 10.
Very much so.
I think it's the best chicane in the world because it's so good for racing. You can get the cutback, you can go alongside, it's nice and wide, and it just works absolutely perfectly.
Oh, it does. And yeah, you mentioned in 7, high fuel. We will run very high fuel in these, and cold tyres. That's why you always see an instant. You are correct. Cars bottom out much easier on that first lap, and first lap's where you're usually going to be side by side or have someone close up you, and you're trying to get to that throttle too eagerly, and yeah, we're going to see a spin.
Yes, I think that is certainly going to happen. Well, we'll see if we see any spins as well in qualifying, because the drivers are just going out on circuit now to start their laps. We'll go to a quick advert, but then after that we'll be trackside to bring you the action for the final 25 minutes of qualifying. See you back in a moment.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, You owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Welcome to qualifying and welcome to Road Atlanta. The LMP3 drivers currently in their qualifying session. Now, you did just see an advert for Virtual Racing School. Big thanks to them for supporting this series and supporting the channel as well. And of course, as well as their driver tuition software for iRacing, which gives you setups and data packs for many different cars on road and oval racing. They are also in the hardware game as well, with their wheel rim, their wheelbase, and their pedals as well. And of course, if you want to get yourself some of that, you can go to vrs.racing, or you can go to apexracingsim.com and order yourself some pedals. Also, check out the Apex Racing team YouTube channel as well, where Jimmy Fluke did a video on how he sets up his pedals. And yeah, it's a nice way to make sure that your pedals are absolutely the best that they can possibly be for your racing. I know a fair few of these drivers are using Virtual Racing School equipment themselves. At the moment in this qualifying session is Adam States leading the way. He's got about 3 more minutes to go, and already it's getting a little bit orange on circuit. By the end of the race, it will just be black pretty much, with a couple of headlights illuminating the driver's way.
Yeah, I love driving in the dark here. You do have to have your confidence in T3, for sure. Again, it is blind, and in the dark, it's for sure blind. But yeah, it adds to the challenge here.
We're running board with Adam State for Whipperman Racing. Not sure where the name Whipperman comes from, but I'm a fan of it. I'm a fan of it. Remy Fortin, who was so good back at Spa last time out, I think a solid P2 in the end. He actually pushed Dan Sedgley all the way to the race victory, and even led in parts as well. Maybe used a little bit too much fuel in the early stages, it turned out. But he is currently on pole position. Sedgley moves up to second place. Let's see if States can respond at all. And he does remain in third, but looks like he's going to push for another lap. He's got 2 more laps to go. Once the drivers get to that 10-minute mark, they have to just complete the lap that they have started. They can't start anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tighter here when the LMDh has come out, so they need to finish their last lap quite quickly, I suppose, on a short track like this.
You don't exactly want the LMDhs to be overtaking you whilst you're pushing along and they're just warming up their tyres. It's going to be a bit off-putting. Here's Tom Stevens, currently 5th position for Stevens. I think he'll get closer with this lap, but it won't be enough to get him up any places. No, well, I was wrong on one of them, right on the other. He didn't improve at all, and he stayed in the same position. Nicholas Rasmussen, who was tuning in for yesterday's Apex Racing Academy Super Formula first round, saying good evening, Les. Good evening to you, Nicholas. And once again, I will be continuing to pester Nicholas. He said that he's just spotting for his teammates for Apex Racing Academy Super Formula. He should be out there. Fantastic driver is Nicholas. Yeah, I'm sure he'd be very tired of me recommending him the series by the end of the month.
You'll get there in the end. I think it's been interesting here with the pit stop strategy here, because an element of luck is going to come into it. For short tracks like this, you can't really guarantee you're going to come out in less traffic or in a less compromised situation than your rivals. But that, again, brings to why we love Road Atlanta. It throws everything into the mix.
So Fortin back to the pits. That will be the end of his qualifying session. Brian Robinson, that's a 1x. I imagine he was dipping the wheel onto the grass. It would have compromised his exit as well, which of course compromises your next lap as well, because the start-finish line comes up so early. Robinson may be out of fuel, and he pulls to one side. He will be 8th position on the grid at best. Bob Humphrey seems to have set 5 lap times, but none of them are eligible, which is a shame for Bob. Of course, recently won the Amateur Championship in the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup. And we didn't have many similar qualifying results to that. He will be starting down in 10th position as it stands, behind his teammate Kev Copeland, who also invalidates his lap times. And, well, it seems like it's going to be down to Adam State and Dan Sedgley to see if they can beat Remy Fortin. They're just approaching the line now, but Sedgley's had enough, and State has had enough as well. So it's another damp squib.
Damp squib, I'm keeping it. I like that. Yeah, I'm guessing Bob has collected 5 1Xs in T3. Easy to collect as well.
Yep.
Very easy.
you sort of just got to guess where the corner is. In
Well,
my
not just
experience,
that.
and just hope that you
Yeah.
understeer.
The more you turn right, the faster you're going to be as well. That's the agitating thing, the real agitating thing, because if you nail it and you're far over, that's a couple of tenths. If you're far left, it's a couple of tenths in the wrong direction.
I think that is I think that's one of the corners where you can identify an average sim racer compared to a pro sim racer as well. Because it's one of them
100%.
where you are, when you first get started, where you think, okay, I'm going to brake, and then I'm going to turn, and then I'm going to accelerate. And you see the pros, and they're almost doing it all at the same time. And
Curb
it's
to
just
curb,
one
yeah.
flowing motion where they're turning, they're braking, and they're on the power almost before the apex as well. And that's, if you can nail that corner, then you sort of figured out how to get that extra pace, because it really does demand every element of driver skill.
For sure. If you watch a coach teach you T3 in like one of the tutorial videos, they act calm, they talk about riding the left curb, eyeballing something, one turn, and then where to throttle. You go do it, not only do it off track, you're facing the wrong way on the out of the corner. Yeah, but no, I agree. They do make it look very smooth, very easy, and very repetitive. Whereas I sometimes feel like it's my first time through the corner sometimes.
Yeah, I like it. It's always just catching the curve slightly there. So yeah, circuits like Monza, potentially a little bit. Austin, where it's just brake on the 100, stop it,
Correct.
clip the curve, and then power. But yeah, this place much more demanding. LMDh drivers now out, and once again they get 10 minutes, and these are the first few drivers flying laps now. Just Hakon Coulson had a brilliant result in the Super Formula yesterday. Hakon Coulson won the amateur category. He isn't currently out on circuit, just him and Smerk not out on circuit, but as I say, that Smerk does enter the track now in his bid to get as high up the standings as possible. Simonson with maybe the best paint on the grid, just with a couple more corners to go. It's Turovsky initially setting the pace with a 1 minute 7.6.
We've got a question from chat. How many quality sessions are there? It's a 30-minute session, and the LMP3s get 10 minutes, the LMDh AMs get 10 minutes, and the LMDh Pros get 10 minutes, and that's it. So they share the session. It's a one open session that's organised by Apex.
Exactly. Ronald G saying Whipperman is the name of a turn/section at the Nordschleife. Thank you for that, Ronald. I know one of my old teammates knew every single corner on the Nordschleife. I never quite got to that stage. Really, Imola is as many corners as I can remember for a single circuit. So thank you, Ronald, for letting us know. And that's a very good backstory for a team name. Pretty much all these teams could be named after a different part of the Nordschleife, and we still wouldn't run out of names.
Yeah, I haven't finished learning Spa. I'm useless. I prefer the names T1, T2,
Oh no,
T3.
well, it's all that time in America.
Yep.
So currently at the top of the standings after those burst attempts, still Turovsky, albeit Ray has just improved. He goes to within half a second. But Turovsky, after that pole position last time out at Spa, and the race win, remember, at Fuji, repeating that form. Costa up to third place. Now it's Ben Cullen up to third position. Mac Mafakwa is improving on this, have all personal best sectors, and this should get him up a fair few places, I imagine.
Yeah, for sure. I believe I raced Balaj this week. I have no idea what he's doing in LMDh AM. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I want to comment on it. Okay, carry on. And
he is the highest I-rated driver, 4.1k.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. He was absolutely phenomenal. We had a really good battle. He's very quick, though. And Andre Villela was the other one in Pro. He actually beat me. Beat that one again. Two very great drivers. I'm really interested to see how they do. I'm kind of pining to be out there, I'm not going to lie. There's a rig not too far.
Yeah, if we go quiet, or if David goes quiet at any point of the race, then that'll tell you why. Tom McMahon complaining about Bob. He's got to try harder. I fully agree, Tom. Former Apex Racing League GT champion and GT America champion, if I'm getting that right. I think for Tom, two-time ARL champion. And also Adam Hedgecock very much agreeing with us at turn 3. Makes him question about whether he can actually drive a sim car. I fully agree, and we come to this like every single year, every single month. It's probably in the top 5 most visited tracks on iRacing, and it still remains ever so daunting.
So we're seeing the track temps very comparable to what we're getting at IMSA this week, and Tarotsky has set a 5.7. That's on the money. We're not going to see... I mean, the big guys are doing the 4s, but, you know, they're earning big bucks. I think the low 5 is very impressive. We'll probably see that in the pros, a 5.2, 5.1, but 5.7 is very good, and that's why we're seeing a 5/10 deviation back to P2 and David.
Yeah, this is a scary pace for Bash Tarotsky. This is going to be very close to the overall standings, and of course the LMDh cars, they all grid together, so Tarotsky posting that good time, you might think, oh, he's half a second clear of the rest. That's not really very useful, he may as well be 100th ahead. No, if he's half a second ahead, that could be 5 or 6 positions between him and the next amateur driver. So that could be a lot of extra points for him, which he will be desiring or to boost his championship margin. Davide Favari very much warming up the tyres on his lap at the moment. He's got a couple more attempts to come. So does Poncelet. Loy, he's just starting a fast lap now.
Yep, that is an impressive lap from Tarotsky there. Let's see who we got else out there who's got a fighting chance to see if David Favario can do this. 3.4k. He's been looking good in previous rounds. Let's see.
Yeah, just improve, or not improving, apologies for I did just set a lap time, but a fair bit off. Dominic Smerek adds his name to the board. Still no lap time for Hakon Jökulsson. He's just not gone out onto track at the moment as Jökulsson, so I'm not sure what's going on there for the Icelandic driver. Like I said, in such good form and such high spirits after yesterday's Super Formula win. Cheyenne Van Helden, he's now set a lap time and he goes to 13th place. 15 LMDh AMs, I think the highest amount of AMs we've had so far this season. It's good to see.
What's also good to see is the BOP. In first in MDH at the moment, we've got Caddy, second a BMW, third an Acura, and fourth a Porsche.
Yes.
Now the Porsche notoriously round here is very difficult over the curbs. That corner we're talking about, the exit of 7. No, the
exit of 5.
5. Yeah. It's no way. I don't like the Porsche there. Not at all. So my predictions: we see an upside down Porsche on the rails out of that corner. For sure. You
know what? I was looking at as Simpson just moves up to 7th place, by the way. I was looking at the preview earlier on, just watching some practice stuff, and pretty much the first thing I saw was an LMDh car on his roof. I think that was at turn 3, so he really must have messed it up around there. But there are a couple of curves that you can get launched over. Costa starting a lap. We're into the final couple of minutes now. And not much more time. But Tarotsky has gone back out onto circuit. He was taking some new tyres just a few moments ago. And he'll be setting off after another lap very soon. Davide Favario just getting faster and faster right now. He recently improved up to 3rd position. And he's setting more personal best sectors. I think this could well be good enough for the front row of the grid for the 218.
Yep, looking phenomenal. It's a big ask for the pole. But let's see if he can get the P2. Oh, as we see Costa go straight on. It's the end of his qualifying with time running very short.
Here's Tarotsky. No personal best sectors on this lap.
He's going to have one more go. As long as he's saved his deploy, he's got the tyres warmed up.
With this circuit being so short, can you go for 2 kind of fast laps?
You can, 100%, yeah. If you know deploy your out lap and warm up your tyres, because that's the problem with him, so your first push lap is not fantastic. T1 is... It's just tricky. You don't have long enough lap to warm up the fronts. That's why we're seeing a lot of drivers weaving down the straights. But yeah, if you don't deploy the first lap, you can easily push for 2 full quali laps here.
So Ferrari back to the pits. He was able to move up into 2nd position, just 0.3 of a second off Tarotsky. And it's up to Vey now to try to retake that position. Hutchinson up to 3rd place. Hutchinson with a really good round back at Fuji, finished 2nd out of the AMs. But was a bit unlucky as David Vey just missing the apex, had to hesitate getting onto the throttle, then was on the curb as well. And it all didn't look especially good for Vey. No personal best sectors on this lap. I doubt it will be an improvement. Tarotsky is approaching the line himself. He still wants to go faster. He could well displace a few more pros if he can improve. He's set 1 personal best sector on this lap so far, as Tarotsky is just approaching the line now, but I think he's come back to the pits. Vey, I seriously doubt, unless he's set the best final sector of all time, I seriously doubt this will be an improvement for him. And he does stay in 4th place. Just Costa and Stevenson still to come, and I'm not seeing personal best for them either. So
Stevenson's in.
the damp squib is continuing, and
It is.
Why are
don't know.
guys so slow at the end of the session? What's
I
going on?
have no idea. Good improvements from Favario and Mark there. They got down to a 6 flat and a 6-1. That's going to help them, like you say. We've got Thomas in chat. Hey, Thomas. I can inform my fuel cap wants me to refuel more than the tank can hold. Oh, he's talking about a 2-stop in LMP3.
Ah, maybe. That is...
or a fuel save ride. I think, if you can hear me, Thomas, fuel save.
Well, it's limited to 75% fuel at the LMP3s. It will be tight whether or not they can make it on 1 or 2 stops, and so they could well need a splash come the end of the race. For the LMDhs, it should be fairly easy just going for the 1 stop. I mean, a full tank. So far this season, well, at Fuji it was getting some drives 50 minutes. At Spa it was more like 45.
Yeah, no, they're going to be fine. Yeah, they're not going to... How was it? 75 minutes?
75, so you need to go 38 minutes on a tank.
Interesting.
I think the LMP3s will be alright. Like I said, like you said, apologies. I think if you can fuel save, I think you need to fuel save in that scenario.
For sure, yeah, because yeah, if you can, a pit stop costs a lot of time, regardless of the pit entry here. You know, it's not the quickest, so yeah, fuel savings. I don't know the numbers though. It depends how much it's going to hurt your race pace overall. But yeah, what we're going to see here again through the pit stop phase, it's going to be really interesting to see. Fuel, tyres, even the best strategy in the world. If you come out and you've got 2 laps of heavy traffic, it's going to cost you more than any pit stop strategy would have gained you. And the guy who pitted a lap before you and comes out and has 3-4 laps in a row of not much traffic, it can change the race.
And I mean, I've been guilty a few times in the past as a commentator to say, oh, he's in traffic right now, just come into the pits and get out traffic. Well, if you're going to come back out into traffic, then it's a little bit pointless to do that. So being aware of where everyone else is on circuit is a massive use in that scenario. And unfortunately, most of these guys don't have spotters to tell them information like that. They have to rely on just their eyes or judgments or many other things, software. But yeah, so far, Marteau at the front of the standings. And Marteau's time faster than Turovsky's time at 7.5, and that is well clear of the rest of the LMDhs so far.
No, 5.7. Yeah, no.
Apologies, I was looking at the wrong column.
Yeah, I think if I had to guess, they are double no deploying because, like I mentioned, the first lap is just, it's dog. It's so slow. We have to do it in IMSA because we have to do it. So if I was doing this, I would no deploy 2 laps and push for 2. Well, push for 1 if I was feeling confident. Let's say, yeah. Turovsky pulls off a 5.7. Yeah, it looks like these boys are just doing a no deploy first lap.
Yeah, seems like it is the smart way to go. As Marteau now does push on this second lap, and he does a 4.9. 4.9. Well, you were saying how the big boys are doing the 4s. Kyoto Marteau is a certified big boy now.
If this is a 19C session, I can't do a 4.9. I think a 5.1, low 5.2 was my PB in the end. I think there's more grip in these sessions. IMSA's definitely lower. That's what I'm going to put it down to, yeah. yeah. The league just has higher grip.
Well, the wear rate of the track starts off at 30% at the start of practice.
Oh, there's a 2-hour practice. Yeah.
2-hour practice. So it'll probably be at what, like
easy.
50% now, 60%, I think.
No. 2 hours of this many cars. We're talking 80 plus.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think the special events with the hour, it's almost 90. That's what the... Obviously, you don't know. Like.
Yeah, it's not clear to see. But
no, but yeah, that's my guess. 2 hours.
Yeah, certainly within the first couple of hours, the track does sort of just stay the same after that.
But grip levels aside, a 4.9 is a brilliant lap time. Very impressive. I was thinking very low. I thought like 5.2, 5.3 was going to be very impressive.
Andre Viella up to 2nd position, but still some 7/10, even 8/10 of a second off so far. The Foley immediately coming back to the pits. James Ibram currently in 4th position. Good qualifying session for him so far. This isn't going to put him up anywhere, however, this lap. Antonino Saigre moves up to 9th place out of the pros. 11th place overall. And I don't think this is going to be improvement. If no personal best sectors I'm saying, and yeah, he is just going to push for another lap after this one, it looks like. And yeah, pretty much everyone else in the period is out on the circuit.
Yeah, we're seeing the BMWs at the top, as I thought. Who we got out there? Or Busby in the caddy, I imagine it's going to improve. Joshua Wilson in the caddy, he's fast in this car class. Miguel hasn't done a lap. Oh, he has, an 8-1, so something went very wrong there. Before now, Hugo with a 5.9. So we're seeing fast lap times, but we're seeing Turoski still P3 out overall from the AM. Very impressive. Very impressive. David, to summarise that gap that you described that P2 would be, it's already worth, like, what is that, 7 cars to David Favaro? So, yeah, very impressive. That's going to be very easy for him to look after in the race.
During the race, we've sometimes seen just 2 tyres being taken. It's always a debate for us. I guess 4 tyres tonight, right? Seeing that 75 minutes. And you have to take the extra fuel. Surely going to be 4 tyres.
I agree. Yeah, they'll be free. Unless they leave it 50 minutes. I think it's going to be free regardless, but you perhaps wouldn't want to leave it to the very, like, till you're running down to 0 on fuel. There may not. I'm not sure. But yes, typically it's going to be 4 for free here with this length. Let's see Joshua Wilson. We're following him. Currently a 6.0. You can definitely go quicker than that.
Yeah, not much of a good lap here. He lost 4 tenths in the first sector alone to the best first sector. And despite not requiring much of an improvement to get up another row on the grid, no, I was misreading that. He does need to get a 10th in order to improve, but he remains where he is at the moment because he's very much still pushing it.
Nice.
Just skimming across that turn 3, turning it into as much of a straight as possible, flat out through this section. Let's see how wide he goes. Around here, takes a lot of the inside curb, and well, that all seemed very smooth.
Very nicely done. Yeah, this point of view is brilliant to watch. We'll be able to see exactly how his lap's doing. Is he going to hold second here, keep the torque up? He does. Nice.
Best first sector on this lap, so the timing sheets are agreeing with our eyes.
Yes, of course they would. But your pressure gets to you here on a good lap because that temptation to brake a foot later can cost you, or it can put you pole. So let's see what he does. Grab some of that inside curb, keep it in a high gear, no rear low, looking good. Translate the car step. Coming over the brow of that hill, I was shocked. This is my first time here in MDH. You've got to be very careful not to react. Just the car steps out a bit and you break traction.
Wow, that's an improvement. 3 tenths faster. It put him up, what, 6 places, I think?
Yeah.
Absolutely stormed up. Pedro Valencia has also just improved. He's up to 4th place overall now. It is so close from 3rd in the LMDHs all the way down to, I mean, pretty much Jose Alzagari in 18th.
Yeah, very close. 3 tenths.
3rd down to 18th, separated by, yeah, just a few tenths of a second.
As we see QT do another 4.9, a slight improvement, a 104.922, showing that it wasn't a fluke and he can do it again. P2 currently running 5.4, 5.4 also from Viella. Then a bit of a drop off, but still 5.7, 5.7, 5.7 from Turoski, Paul and Joshua. These are still very impressive laps.
Everyone who's starting a lap now, this will be their last lap right now. Marteau just getting across the line as well, so he will have one more attempt to go. Half the drivers back to the pits now. It's Marteau and Valencia, the highest placed drivers, who are still out on second. Then it's this man, Philip Kraft. He only needs to improve by a 10th of a second and he'll be on the 2nd row of the grid. This lap, so far from 2 personal best sectors out of 3. And this could well be threatening the top 4 positions. His accurate powers around the final corner. And Kraft moves up to 5th position. Fortunately, he's not next to his namesake. And he is 6th place overall.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have them separated so we can use their name without wondering who we're talking about.
Madsen coming across the line. 2 personal best sectors as well for Madsen. This might be good. Yep, gets some upper place. He's up to 8th.
We've got James Imbra on the lap as well. So we'll see, because he just dropped James, and James is actually still out there.
Weak lap, however, for James. Poor 2nd sector.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 4 tenths off. That ain't going That ain't going nowhere.
Oh,
Josh used...
wow, look at that. 4-6. 4-6. I mean, I thought he was perfecting it with the 9s, and then he pulls out that.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
7/10 clear of the rest.
That's Owen territory.
He's a good driver, isn't he? He's a really good driver. When Keo is winning World Championship events, his biggest achievement, and I think he will testify, will still be winning 5 championships in Apex Racing League, which could well turn into 6 at the end of this season. But the guy is very, very talented. Madsen, is this a legitimate lap? I think he's already crossed the line.
I thought he had,
flag.
yeah. I thought he had, yeah.
He just set a personal best final sector over. Oh, there you go. Up to 4th. Look at that.
I could have
Time
sworn
or
we
not?
saw him after check. Maybe we're wrong.
He must have just got across the line times. Well, that's not a dab squib.
It's not a damn squid, just the opposite.
That's 4th place. Nice work from Nick Madsen. Moves ahead of Bash Turuski. And, yeah, well, I mean, of course, the story after that one, Kieti Agamato, 0.74 seconds clear of the rest around a circuit that these guys have been practicing for the last 3 or 4 weeks, some of these.
Yeah, I mean, some of these have got years experience at this track. That 4.6 is an incredible lap. But still, he has to still start next to Daniel Craft at the start of the race. He'll get through T1 clean because he gets to define when he goes. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they can keep up or pull a strategy on him. But at the moment, if he keeps a clean race, he's got this.
Yeah, he looks very tricky to beat. Marte on the pole position at the circuit that Race Culture won in the Apex Racing League Endurance Championship, if I recall correctly. Then it's Dan Kraft in 2nd place, Andre Viella, Nick Madsen, Pedro Valencia, and Belash Turuski. Turuski once again top of the amateur drivers. Then it's Philip Kraft, Paul Busby, who won last time out, Joshua Wilson, James Ibram rounding out the top 10. There's Hugo Prete, Davide Favaro, Antonino Segro, Lorenzo Zavoli, Mark Hutchinson, David Vey in 16th place. And it's Cullen Alzugari after Alzugari's had an amazing race in the Super Formula as well. Super Formula was really good yesterday. Finished 2nd place in Super Formula in the overall standings. Really is adept at that car. Then it was Miguel Bento, Nuno Costa, his fellow countryman alongside him, Mac McFarquhar in 21st. There's Jonas Simonsen, Rink Vilbrink, Chris Stevenson in 24th. Then it's Smerik, Silva, Van Helden, Loy, and Nicholson. Nicholson didn't set a lap time. In the LMP3s is Fortan ahead of State, his first pole position of the season. And Sedgley, our championship leader, lining up in 3rd. And then in 33rd place is Hansen. Behind him it's Stevens, Copeland, Saul Robinson, Clist, and Humphrey, rounding out the drivers. And we have got a full formation lap, so plenty of time for the drivers to take it easy over here. And the start zone, where the pole sitter can launch, is on the just after the curb on the right-hand side of the track when you come round the final corner. So you imagine the curb on the inside, it's just after that and before the start-finish line. So it's a very small window that the drivers can accelerate in.
It is. So they got to actually, they'll be going full throttle around the last corner. Just
no, they'll have to be half throttle
copy,
until pretty much on the exit of the final corner.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, that's going to give QT a nice advantage. He'll be going through T1 on his own, and then it's behind. You can make the outside work, but you just have to remember the guys on the inside. Cold tyres, heavy fuel, nervous, braking late, so it's easy to get a tap there and end up just getting sent flying on the grass. Obviously, this week in IMSA, it's obviously been LMDh's LMP2s and GT3, so I'm interested to see the speed difference between these two classes and how they meet. But if it's somewhere between the LMP2, it can get a little awkward. There will be a lot of waiting in the turn 5 cooldown down the S's. The LMDh's will just have to park behind their LMP3s. It's best to leave a bit of extra space so you can get them on exit and get it done. But a lot of patience, and then the patience ramps up because you're hoping the guy behind you sees that you're going to check up to wait. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all fares.
I'm hoping that we see a mugging into T5 at some point, because one of the Stormforce Spotlight nominations for the Apex Racing League, or the ASUS Apex Racing League Endurance Championship a few months ago, we had one driver stuck behind the other coming out of turn 3, heading up the hill into turn 5. And so you had a GT3 there, an LMDh there, LMDh there, and the MDh, whilst this MDh was waiting, just overtook them.
No.
And it was an amazing move, and it was just a mugging, pretty much. And it was real nice to see. I'm not sure if anyone's going to do that today. I didn't even see that happening when we were racing like LMP1s around this track. So that's how tricky it is to pull it off. So yeah, top marks if anyone does it.
I bet the other LMDh wasn't screaming, "Oh, brilliant move, sir. Well done. Hat off to you."
I think they had a bit of a battle back for the next few laps. It was actually a very good fight. It was, I think it was MA70 esports who managed to block that move. So yeah, good work to them guys.
Wow. No, thank you. I don't go side by side even with the slower class. It's just not worth it.
No. Yeah, most of the time, moves like that do not work out. The driver's just approaching the final chicane now. The LMP3s will leave a bit of a break, a bit of a gap, and already those headlights very much illuminating the circuit. It's going to be about 20 minutes time when the sun sets, and yeah, it's going to get proper dark. But Thiago Marto leading the field, hoping for a much better turn one than what he managed last time out at Spa, where he was wiped out from a few rows back. Let's see what he can do this time. There's a little bit of a check-up. There is contact as well. Marto tries to get the power down. Has he got damage as well? I think he does. And
yeah,
that could be problems for the drivers behind. Marto trying to keep it in a straight line if he possibly can. But pole sitter with another disastrous race start.
Yeah, that was a strange one. Also, I noticed the Pure Sims guy, Kraft, he wasn't P2. He was acting like he was row 2. And I don't know if that threw out. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure. Obviously, maybe we don't know if QT went once, went twice, but yeah, certainly P3 hit him from behind, which is a strange thing to see if you're waiting for the leads to go. Oh, I cannot believe the contact we saw resulted in that much damage.
Just a tiny little bit. I do think it's the new damage model, or new cars generally added to iRacing. Do seem to be very sensitive on that rear end. Remy Fortin with a strong start in the LMP3s. He's head of state. No changes at all, apart from Humphrey, who's gained a couple of places so far in the LMP3s. But it's Dan Kraft leading the way. Other poor starts for Rink Vilbrink and Nuno Costa. They've dropped a fair few places. Besides that, it's largely the same order. With Marto, the big loser out, there goes Wilson across the grass. Unfortunately for him, or fortunately, apologies for Ibram, he was able to get past unscathed.
Yeah, I think that is a slowdown, so we are going to have to see him serve some time there. Oh, as we see someone rally crossing. Is this going to be a 3-1? No, it looks like Josh has got the penalty served.
Oh, that's off.
Lucky the grass is a little grippy. We're going to see him return to the track, whereas previous seasons, that would be the end of his race. So that's one thing grass has definitely saved. We have an extra driver in our race.
That was Hutchinson just exiting the pit lane, or very tight on the inside. I think it was Hutchinson. I thought he was coming out of the pit lane, but no, he was just extremely tight. Hugo Prater, issue for Joshua Wilson. So Wilson has dropped down. So we've got Fortin leading. He hasn't been able to break the draft to state in Sedgley. Hansen showed pretty good pace in the first half of the previous event back at Spa. He's a little bit detached right now in P4, but I think these top 3, if the first 2 rounds of the season gone by anything, I think they could well be glued to one another until we get to the pit stops.
Thomas has got this. Great team. He's got this. He's going to make it. He's a very quick driver. He's actually quite new to the service, so his iRating is pretty impressive. I do worry about him getting faster than me pretty soon.
Joshua Wilson, Ben Cullen, Nuno Costa, Anthony Negro, Thiago Marto, all back to the pits. Ooh, what's gone on there for Dan Kraft?
Yeah, we caught it late, but we saw him sideways. Don't see any damage. Maybe it was at the exit.
I was going into turn 3. Was there contact behind, or has he made a very common mistake? And that was Mark Hutchinson nearly overtaking him.
I thought he was flashing because he was a fan of the move. Let's see. It'd be nice to get a replay. We'll get a replay of that as soon as possible. But yeah, when we cut to it, he was sideways. So we're not sure if it was a mistake, contact. But it looked like everyone got through. But we are seeing, yeah, P1 has been a cursed position in LMDh. We've lost our leader twice.
Exactly. Awful knees. Viella now to the top. Nick Manson looking for his first race win in Apex Racing League for a while. Former Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup champion, of course, back in 2021. Pedro Valencia looking for his first win. And Philip Kraft rounding out the top 4. But Ostrowski, first place out of the AM still, and top and 5th place overall. Dan Kraft has had to come back to the pits for repairs. Are you surprised that he had to get repairs for that?
Well,
just from the off track, but maybe there was contact preceding it.
Yeah, there must have been. If there's damage and he was that sideways, because we didn't see any subsequent damage, and we caught the move, well, we caught the incident quite early, so yeah, I'm assuming there was a rear contact from Viella. Who was the car that hit the leader? Was it Viella?
I think it was, yeah, because Viella starts in 3rd place, so it must have been.
So Viella might be looking at some...
Yeah, I wouldn't answer his door.
Yeah. Let's see what Nick can do. Nick is close. They're very close, actually, the front pack. Yeah, so we're seeing what LMDhs are actually in the mix with some of the LMP3s now already. As I scroll down.
Jonas Simonson also back to the pits. Good news that Costa is back going, Seagrove's back going. Unfortunately, Marteau, I think that's his day out done.
Yeah, huge shame.
If he wins Petit tomorrow, which is probably a realistic possibility, or at least gets into the top 5, I think he will forget about this. He'll be over it. He's still got championship lead, have a drop score in the series. It's all right for Marseille. Makes it a bit more interesting, but he will be frustrated.
He's going to be really happy with that quali lap. He's definitely showing that he's the man to beat in qualifying. He's just having the worst luck. Now, obviously, we didn't get to it. It's quick to judge. We don't see if QT went and then there was a slight hesitation, because I can't think of another reason P3 would just preemptively go.
I wonder if is there an element of your brain where once you see the green flag, you're just your foot just gravitates to the floor and you
yes,
put your foot
we're
down.
programmed. We're programmed,
exactly.
Of course, yeah. So maybe that happened.
Well, of course, for those who aren't aware, the leader can go anywhere inside the start zone. And until they launch, everyone else has to stop. And that is slaloming through. How have those 2 LMDHs avoided that?
Everyone
comes across. And from looking like we might have a track blockage, we've only got 2 drivers out. Philip Kraft, though, from, I believe, 4th position, was involved in that one. He's got so much damage, he'll have to tow back.
Yeah, the Peugeot is not going to have much rear downforce. That's the problem. You recover from the damage, you don't know you're missing your rear wing. The next thing you do is proceed to spin.
I believe it was Paul Joseph Clist who he made the contact with. Certainly one of the Olympus cars. Bob Humphrey has had an issue. That's why he's limping slowly, even what we're used to, the pace difference. Humphrey, who's now being overtaken by some very similarly liveried cars. I think he is really struggling there. He'll have to come back to the pits as well.
It was very, very impressive avoidance there of the spun car there. We saw one guy take to the grass. I think he kept his throttle flat, but it was very impressive. Yeah, it'd be good to see that again in a bit when we get you the replay. Oh, as we see an LMDh and an LMP3 just brush doors there, all fine. So Viella has got a 6/10 lead to Madsen, almost 3 seconds back. P3 Valencia on Viella. The rest of the pack are quite bunched. P7 to 8 seconds back.
Ben Franklin not especially pleased with what's going on. Marteau has said the most ridiculous thing I've seen in the YouTube chat, so he's not pleased, and yeah, that is a shame. We might get a replay of it now. Marteau going.
Let's see.
I think he's been very consistent there, hasn't he, Marteau? I know he's going slow, but that's his prerogative. And I think just P3 has just been too eager to get going, but it's not up to him when to go.
Yeah, I'm not... that doesn't look like it's QT's fault. Maybe the car... See, the Pure Sims car there on the outside was far back, and I think maybe he lunged forward because he can, there's space, and I think P3's copied, and... Yeah, it looks like that... I cannot believe that tap-in resulted in that damage, though, the crabbing. Unbelievable. The finest bit of driving there, not hitting anybody. Very impressive.
Yeah. Especially when you're that annoyed and you're just thinking, oh, my race is over. I may as well. Oh. So that was that Hutchinson going into the back of him, or maybe? Oh. So this was from the lead for Kraft. It was all by himself. So, but then he had damage after this.
Yeah, I'm confused.
So he must
Why
have
did
had
he pit?
a separate incident.
Yeah, it must have been. That's a weird accident as well. Oh,
And then that was Kraft.
oh through the middle.
Cliss. There was contact on the second car going through, but this is just going to be straight to the middle.
Moses.
Wow.
Very impressive avoidance. Very, very impressive avoidance. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that QT incident. He was going slow, but that doesn't invite the guy behind to throttle into you because, I don't know. Without seeing onboards and speeds, I don't think there's anything QT would be wrong. And it also seemed like P3 hit him twice. The first time was almost like, oh, and then I don't understand why you would throttle again.
Yeah.
I don't understand that bit. But I was bamboozled why the Pure Sims guy was lining up on the second row.
Is that due to getting a better visibility of when the pulse hits?
Maybe he's got a single screen. I know many drivers who, if you have a single screen, they find it very difficult to know when the guy alongside's going. But yeah, I just found that a little odd. Because P2, you are on the front row of the grid. But yeah, unless you've got triples, it can be difficult, especially in a prototype with the A-pillars and everything, so maybe it was just a visibility issue. But yeah, we still don't know what happened to Kraft then, because we saw the spin, we saw him land on the grass, we saw him recover to the track. Not sure what happened from there. Why he ended up in the pit. Maybe there was a second incident?
And it's bad as well to pit at this point because he's going to have to pit again later on. Like sometimes you can get away with it where, I mean, to pay, even if it was just an hour long race, you'd have to pit later on. But sometimes you can get away with a pit stop on the 15 minutes for repairs and still just do the one stop. But yeah, you'll have to pit later on, so no advantage will come from later on. He was saying fast starts of the race earlier on as well. He's pretty much, I mean, it's difficult to judge because of the amount of traffic, but Kraft certainly did have the pace to win tonight. But unless something incredible happens ahead, like everyone's headlights not working apart from his, I think it's likely that the best he can hope for is a top 10.
So actually, quick story, while I was racing with Maxime Bria on one of our ART pros, he had an incident in the IMSA race, top split, car spun, both his headlights went out, and he did another 4 laps and finished top 3.
Could he follow anyone?
Nope. I actually followed, because I was in the race. After the race, I played back a lap that he did, especially a lap where it was quiet, and coming down the out of 3 and in the S's, unbelievable, scary. I had no idea how he did it. No idea.
I remember we had a broadcast on Apex Racing TV a couple of years ago where a league organised a race with, I think, the Lotus 79s, and they organised it at Silverstone, but they started it at sunset, and so obviously within 15 minutes it was pitch black.
No lights.
And it was the most bizarre broadcast ever, where for the last 5 laps you had these guys with zero visibility, and I'm not, like, this is the old Silverstone we're talking about.
My God.
There are no lights whatsoever, no lights on the cars, and you're sort of just trying to spot out these cars on track, which you know are
brilliant.
there by the timing, who are a minute off the pace. And I think they just reset the results in the end, but it was an amazing attempt from the drivers to try to finish.
Unbelievable. Yeah, we've all done that. I hosted a community race once again. I just didn't realise the car itself didn't come with lights.
Which car was this?
Oh, I have no idea. It was a while back. I don't remember. A year or so. I can't remember which car it was, but I hosted just a fun community race for everyone to join. It was going to be at night, and the car I'd picked didn't have any lights. Just don't remember what it was. Maybe like Skip Barb or something. I don't remember. Right, as you've seen, Viella with an 8/10 lead, but if he's got, what, a 30-second penalty coming, he might want to pull out a gap.
Yeah, that's very true. And of course, yeah, if he is served to you to be at fault, then it is often the penalty will be changed by how much time it lost the other driver, and obviously causing a meatful to another driver. That's going to be a hefty penalty. So if Martilla got away with it, maybe it would only be a 5-second, but seeing that he had the damage that he did, could well be 30 seconds, as you were saying before. In the LMP3, sorry, Remy Fortin is under huge pressure from Adam State, and Adam State is just taking the lead now in the LMP3s into turn 1. Nice move there from the British driver, as Dan Kraft just sets fast up of anyone. So that is the first time we've seen that. State has been running, at the most part, about a second behind Fortin. Obviously, the traffic will ebb and flow that gap, but State with a nice run there, and he is into the lead and looking for would be his first race win of the season.
Yep, and looking good. I do think in this LMP3, if we are looking at a two-stop, I do think their fuel usage is going to play a big impact. Not just if anyone could skip a pit stop, that would be great, but how long you're in the pit. You know, if it's a difference between, we could easily see a difference of 5 seconds here, easily. We're going to see more than that in LMDh alone. When I did my first race of LMDh, I was just doing my thing, a little lift here and there. The ART and Redline boys were about 4.2 seconds quicker in the pits than me, and that was the eye-opening moment again. I was like, okay, fuel saving. It mustn't, you know, 4 seconds is unimaginably quick to fix on race pace alone.
Do you think that fuel that they saved was just amongst the traffic, or do you think
No.
it was every lap they were doing?
Every lap, yeah. They do save more fuel in traffic than us mortals do anyway, because they realise that being close to the guy in front really just puts the driver under pressure. They're more likely to make a mistake and just messes with your exit and keeps your tyres hot. So, yeah, I mean, these guys, you know, it was big competition this week because everyone's getting ready for Petit, everyone's flexing their setups and testing their drivers to make sure they've got everything they need. So that fuel saving was legit. I got there in the end. I got it down to about 1.1 second. They were better than fuel.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't reach the end of the race, but hey ho, you had a short pit stop. Ferrari 8 tenths of a second ahead of his fellow countryman Zafoli. Zafoli up 6 places so far from his race start. I think he might be the highest gainer in the entire field. We haven't had any huge changes.
I think QT might argue we haven't had any huge changes. Down 13.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, he was top of all the starts.
Yes.
And now he's bottom of all the starters. Hakan Coulson is technically behind him, but he did not even do qualifying. Did you, Coulson? Still celebrating his win from yesterday, clearly. Mark Hutchinson with one of my favourite liveries on track. I really do like is that a chrome?
Yeah, it's chrome and blue.
So
Pink wheels.
yeah, I'm a big fan of that. He is chasing down Zafoli. I don't know, on that last lap he was actually 7 tenths of a second faster, so he could well get past him. Still in the same position as where he started at. He started the ARMS. It's Hutchinson in P3 as the amateur driver. Still Turovsky and Ferrari a decent margin ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Turovsky's showing brilliant pace here. He's still staying with Busby. P5 overall, but obviously leading the AMS. It's interesting that David Ferrari is now they're only 1 position apart, whereas we saw it at one stage it was 6 or 7 positions. So David Ferrari looking very impressive there.
It is getting very tight now between Busby, Turovsky and Ibram. That's just ahead of this fight. Busby's gap is now down to 2 tenths of a second and going on to the back straight. He could well be under pressure here. Turovsky on the timing tower, of course. It looks like no one is directly behind Busby, but Turovsky is there, and that is because he is an amateur driver, so he's in that second group. Busby trying to overtake Valencia, but he wasn't able to get past him. And this is very much the peloton, the top 2, well clear, 7 seconds ahead, 17 minutes into the race.
Yeah, it's not easy to pass here, especially in these cars, in the dirty air and everything. Obviously, the last chicane is your best opportunity, or getting them offline, or in traffic, but that takes a lot bigger balls. Let's see if you can follow close and make it work into the last chicane, but it's just tough. It's just tough to pass here. Sometimes it is much more advantageous just to absolutely save fuel and stay behind. Just, as long as the guy in front's doing roughly around your pace, then very much so, fuel safe.
When you've been racing this week, have you changed your setup at all to be a bit more raceable, a bit fast down the straight? So have you been going for absolute pure pace?
I've been going for tyres, to be honest. It helps near the end of this race, and to be honest, I'm still really new to the cars. I'm probably only like 10 officials ever in these cars, but the last 8 of them have been crammed in the last week or so, and I'm learning fast. But so the setup for me is just about drivability and tyres, and so far that's working. I love multi-class traffic around here, so I'm very good in the traffic. So it's just a case of me just being comfortable in the car. But no, my key other practice I've been doing is qualifying. Qualifying is very important in these cars because you can see by the time in town how much traffic breaks you all up. Doesn't matter how fast you are. If traffic puts you 5 seconds apart, which is easy done here, then 5 seconds are practically impossible to get back unless something happens.
Adam Hedgecock confirming that it is a chrome paint. It's got faint altitude mountains on it. I noticed, Adam. I've got young eyes. I can see that very well. And yeah, it does look very nice. So well done, Adam, who painted it. Yes, it's one of your best. That's for a good roster.
Just catching up on the chat myself. Yeah, the livery does look nice.
And a couple of questions as well about the start zone. I know some of the people just asking about the start zone. It's always actually Fortan has retaken the lead in LMP3s. He's got past State. So the position that he lost a few minutes ago, but State's trying to re-overtake at the corner that he overtook for the lead a few laps ago. And these guys battling, he's going to invite down Sedgley. Remember, Sedgley has won the first 2 races of the season. Either of these two would absolutely love to win this race and really are keen to start closing in that gap to Sedgley. And the gap's down to 2 seconds after that little bit of a fight, but Fortan is back to the front. But about the start zone, of course, the LMP3s need to have their start zone themselves. Otherwise, with the gap that they leave, they'll potentially be going green flag through the final chicane, which isn't really ideal for anyone. Don't want to be having changes of position before we even get to the start-finish line. And yeah, it just means that everyone sort of knows when to, roughly when to launch, and yeah, just to ignore the green flag on that occasion. And yeah, Marto had to wait until the end of the curb on the right-hand side of the circuit before he could launch. So he had to go very slowly up to that point and then was allowed to pull away after that.
And look, we're seeing why the LMP3s were fighting like it's the last lap, because stuff like this breaks them up by, my guess is almost 2 seconds. And this is happening to them all the time. It's just the nature of the beast around here on a short track like this with the bigger classes. And as you can see, there's now a big gap between the M3. So that's where we are going to see them back. If there's an opportune, as we see a change of position. Very nicely done there. What, Pedro Valencia, Paul Busby and Tarowski here on track. Yeah, so it does break up the LMP3s being the slower class. We're not used to seeing the LMP3s as the slowest class, but it's looking good out there. We haven't seen too many traffic incidents so far.
It's not been too bad, has it? Which is surprising because this is a really bad traffic circuit.
No. I love this.
I mean, traffic. In terms of it's a high contacts traffic circuit, I would say. In terms of it is so narrow and
okay, yeah, I'll let you have that. Yeah, it
can be so tricky. I mean, I was talking to Johan Hart the other day, and he's very disappointed he can't do Petit Le Mans this year. Because it's a very special event because of the traffic element, because it's so demanding, because it's such a short circuit, because the track is so filled. He loves that element of it compared to the other events, which are much more just down to pure pace.
100% agree. This is my favourite event for the same reason. There is always something to be doing, and it's important things, because if just managing that traffic well can give you lap time every lap, like all through the race. But yeah, very exciting track. There's always something to do. 55 cars on track, 3 classes of cars at Petit. I love it. And yeah, finishing the 10 is a very impressive venture.
Yes.
So if anyone's listening, hoping to do Petit, and it doesn't go to plan, get to the end, because honestly, you'll feel great.
So Busby ahead of Valencia. I think Busby recently made that move on the last lap.
Yeah, into one.
Into one. Did we see that, so?
We did, yeah. It was all happened very quick.
I'm not watching the race.
That's all good. All
Don't
good.
mind me. So yeah, Busby in that 3rd place, up 4 places from his race starts as well. So Busby once again just strong race pace. And I think if it finishes like this, it'll be him or Villela who are at the top of the championship standings, who will clear Thiago Marto after the issues that he had right at the start of the race.
Yeah, I mean, Paul is way back. He's 8 seconds behind Nick, 10 seconds behind Viella. And that pack behind him is close. What is it? 6 seconds separated 6 of them, whereas the top 2 are a chunk of time ahead. So we're seeing great pace from... Lucky Nick got that lap in so late in qualifying, because he... this would have been a completely different race for him had he been almost like 7 positions further down. As we've seen, Lorenzo still 6 positions up from the start. Very impressive.
That was a slight issue for Mafakwa down there. He's just lost the place to Rink Vilbrink. And he'll be caught soon as well by Dan Kraft. Dan Kraft just continuing to set fast enough of the race. He's consistently about 0.3 of a second faster than the race leaders. He is currently 38 seconds off the lead. So if this was Petit Le Mans, he'd actually have a decent chance of catching them by the end of the race.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not. And he will, well, I think he's going to get a top 10 out of this, honestly, as Kraft. He's currently 16th. The top 10 are 22.5, or sorry, 15 seconds away, so you can certainly catch up to them at least.
Yeah, top, he can probably get 8th. Let's see, a lot can change with traffic incidents and people driving into walls on the pit entry, which we're definitely going to see. All right, as we're going to bring you some replays, who we got here?
This is the first state overtake, and he used a bit of traffic, I think, to use that one.
Very nice.
Follows the LMDh through.
Ah, this is the Paul Busby move you missed.
There you go.
Here we go. Very easy. Better say, it all happened very quickly. You got a very good run. Yeah, the guy hit traffic on the exit. There's nothing you can do. Down the inside, I think the other guy would have just lifted, happy to follow him through. Try and get him back later on.
So Vilbrink. Ooh. Okay, so Vilbrink went off the circuit. But he did also gain a place against Mafakwa. Kraft is now going to overtake Mafakwa as well, and he is past. So,
You've got to be so careful with the cones. You get a cone stuck under your car here, it's legit a big problem in LMDh. Big problem.
Where have you been picking them up on the mountain?
The exit 3.
Okay.
Exit 3 when they're knocked over the road, or he drove straight through them, almost like he picked up a bit of net code and didn't actually hit the cones, but those cones do move around. I mean, they reset. I don't know who runs on the track and fixes them every lap or so, but that's an impressive guy.
Watch out for the cone in the wires as well, above the straights. There's one hanging above, I think.
As we've seen, Nick Marsden sub-second to
Yes.
Viella there.
He gained by 9/10 on that last time, and he's 9/10 behind.
Yeah, very impressive.
This is good to see. This is the second race in a row where we've had a fairly new driver to ARL go up against a veteran of ARL. Last time it was Aaron Smith, who was battling for the race win. Unfortunately, Aaron forgot to put enough fuel into his car, and that meant they had an incredibly long pit stop and denied him any chance at winning the race. Hansen, I don't think he's going to make that same mistake, but good to see the Mag Performance driver, who has been sort of on the outskirts of the top 10 so far this season, really have the pace to take the race.
As we just saw on the timing tower, Daniel Kraft passing Matt Farquhar. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, he's up to 15th position now. Sorry, it's quite tricky to tell with the classes, but 15th place overall, 10th place out of the pros.
It was impressive added up.
C in A-level maths, I will tell you.
Wow.
So that's, yeah. And Kraft just keeps the same purple lap times. I'm amazed that Kraft keeps on. It seems like, at least for Kraft, the car is just getting faster and faster as the stint goes on. Is that just because the fuel makes a bigger difference than the tyres, I guess?
No, it must just be lap. No way. It's difficult because the charge is run down to the point now where you're just getting the same little amount every lap. I think it's just a case of if you find a lap with less traffic. We know he's quicker than the rest, but I don't know about keeping up purples unless he's just built different. But no, for me, certainly it didn't get quicker. It may be near the end of the stint when you are very low fuel, you can find some extra pace. But no. Yeah, Madsen's holding on. 6/10 to Viella. Interesting to see if anything happened to Viella. We assumed it was just traffic, but that gap's coming down.
Yeah, they're still pulling away from the others, though. 11 seconds clear of third position. So looking all right on that front. I don't think Kraft's going to be... I don't know, this might be a dumb thing to say. I don't think Kraft's going to be that far away from third place by the end of this race. Because, like, the way that the top two are pulling away, Kraft's faster than top two, pretty much.
Yep.
And so he won't be too far away. But I might be overestimating.
It is difficult to pass here, and traffic does... You know, there'll be 3 laps in a row where Kraft gets held up in the downhill S's and loses 6 seconds, and it really dampens that long-term catchback. It's just very tricky here, especially when you're looking for time. Time has a way of finding to add to you.
Sedgley has joined the lead fight in LMP3. It's now Fortan leading State by a second, and State is a second ahead of Sedgley, so 2 seconds separating the top 3 now in the lead of the LMP3s. Thomas Hansen not quite with the pace of those guys tonight, unfortunately. He's now 7 seconds behind. Tom Stevens in 5th place. Bob Humphrey, after a difficult start, he's up to 6th ahead of his teammate Joseph Saul. Kev Copeland, who we saw off the circuit in the early stages, he's another half minute back. And then Paul Joseph Cliss, who collided with Philip Kraft in the early stages. He's in 9th position ahead of Brian Robinson. So still, all the LMP3s who started... No, I might be wrong on that one. No? Yes? Yeah, all the LMP3s who started are still going. Robinson's just a couple of laps now.
Yep, that seems clear.
It's getting dark. I looked down for a bit. It is noticeably darker when I look back up.
Yes, I agree. Let's see what... the gap to Mazdan's opened up a bit there. I had a thought about Thomas. Maybe he listened to my last-minute advice. Fuel save.
So he's going for the one-stop.
No, I mean, that's a long shot. But it can work in tracks like this when because you lose equal time to traffic if you're fuel saving, if you're not. But it's just those laps where the track's clear where you lose the most. But I mean, you're seeing the circuit right now. How many of those laps are you actually going to get? So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be great to see if the opposite's true and we don't get a commentator's curse, we get a commentator's tip.
I think they're all going to do a one-stop. I know we had that message earlier on where someone was saying how...
It was Thomas.
Oh, it was Thomas.
It was Thomas, and that's why I said to him, fuel save.
Well, I think they should all have a number, right? I think they've been going close to 40 minutes, right? And they need to do 37.5 minutes per stint.
Sorry, I said no stop, yeah. I mean, it's avoiding the 2-stop, I meant.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you say...
Needs to do another 7 minutes. That's like 6 laps.
Yeah, let's see. We'll keep an eye on when they come in, because that would be a big indication if they can make it. Or if they're even aware of it. We saw some drivers start with the wrong fuel, so maybe they're not even checking if it's a 1 or 2 stop where they've done previous weeks, and they just assume it's the 1.
Yeah, might well do.
How is Tarowski running? The AM leader.
He's held up, I think, behind Valencia. Valencia's lost a bit of time now to Busby.
Valencia's putting in some good times.
Yeah, in the 1-minute 6s.
Yeah, very impressive.
Madsen apparently lost 1.4 seconds to the race leader that last time round. Not sure if that's totally legit because he's only half second behind. But maybe he gained back a lot of that time. Yeah, so he actually gained 1.2 seconds on this lap to Viella. So Madsen had an awful previous lap. Viella's having an awful current lap. But I think that's just the traffic that they're dealing with, as Valencia is going to have to go defensive against Tarowski. Quarter of a second between the two of them. Valencia holds on, but Tarowski's got a good exit here. And this could well be an overtake on going into turn 1. It's very much a pinch point corner, and Valencia knows if he covers the inside line, he's going to be very, very tricky to beat. That's what he does, and Tarowski has to settle in behind. But James Ibram is catching up to these guys rapidly, and now with a bit of traffic, Ibram is all over the back.
Yeah, it's looking really good. Tarowski's showing he might... Yo, he made it work. He's not looking very Amish. That's a sentence.
Amish.
Amish. He's not looking very Amish. He looks very pro-ish.
Well, in ARA Superform yesterday, we had an Am take the pole position. It was one of the worst moments of replacement, really. Should be absolutely ashamed to have sets the classes. And yeah, this is not too far away from that in 5th place, but not too far ahead of Davide Ferrari. 5 seconds now, the gap to the Italian.
Yeah, we're seeing Mazda and Viella as close as they've been, 2/10. Let's see what Mazda can do. He's probably feeling pretty good right now. But I say that last, he was the very last, only man on track at one point in qualifying, and he got it in on the way after checkered, when we have typically people seeing box or abandon. But Nick's making this really work.
That's a nice sky. Blue skies above, even though it's very dark. I'm surprised that the sky is quite that blue. And a little bit of orange on the horizon as well.
Yep.
I guess, well, it looks like it's clear skies as well. That's not what you showed me a screenshot earlier on from the official series. It seemed a lot more cloudy, so yeah, a bit clearer it seems like in this session.
I see a lone cloud over there behind the trees.
Okay,
chilling out.
partly cloudy.
Yeah, there's part of one cloud. Yep. But no, it's going to be great. We're starting to see the lights hit the track. I love this track at night. Once you're into the rhythm as well, the drivers aren't going to... Because you've got the day-night cycle, they get used to T3, and in the end, it just becomes a rhythm thing. That's most how drivers do it anyway, on rhythm. Because there aren't many visual cues as to, you know, how this corner's set up. As we see, this is the biggest struggle. Can't make it around the outside unless they facilitate it. This does look a lot different to the GT3s, for sure. We've got the LMP3 is obviously a lot more downforce than the GT3, so it looks a lot, from this perspective, it looks a lot calmer than what we had in IMSA. But we're seeing, yeah, Nick really bring it to Viella here.
Yeah, they've restored that gap. They did lose a bit of time when they went through a real bad bit of traffic. It's back up to over 10 seconds again. So, to be fair, Busby is going much faster than Valencia, so that P3 place that Valencia was holding when that second pack were losing a lot, Busby since then has been a bit more competitive and only a few tenths of a second slower than the top two now at this point in the race. We have got a pit stop for Poncelet Loy. We've also had pit stops for Bento and Smerrick, and they're all scheduled pit stops. Long pit stops as well, 50 seconds. It always surprises me just how long the drivers have to be stationary for. Looks like Poncelet Loy is actually stationary for a bit longer, so I'm not sure what's going on there for him, considering that the fuel and tyres are taken simultaneously. I'm not sure why
it will be a replay. It's either a wall or the 40-second penalty.
Well, if it was a wall, then you can take a faster there.
Right, he's come out at minute 7, so that is 48.
That's only 20 seconds more. What's 20 seconds penalty?
That's 30, right? No, you're right, 20. Not sure. Nothing is 20, like you say.
We took 8 tyres, put 4 on, and thought, nah, didn't like these.
Yeah.
Put another 4 on, please.
I would like to say I've never done that, but I one time gave my teammate 7 tyres.
Wow.
Yeah, I ticked one. They weren't ticked. I ticked them.
Ooh, sorry to interrupt
no,
David there, but there was one car nearly going into the back of another, and then they nearly went into the back of another.
Is this the Viella?
Yeah,
Madsen?
so Madsen nearly got wiped out by a back marker. I think he let out the brake in order to avoid the back marker, but he nearly took out Viella in the process.
As we're seeing it really get to dark now. I think after this next couple of laps, we're going to be seeing a lot more headlights as we do here.
This is close. Prieto versus Hutchinson. And that is Hutchinson. I think that's him actually just moving past. Yeah, he's been faster on this lap. Prieto with a slight engine deflection there, but I think that was all fine. In fact, I think this is Prieto catching up to Hutchinson, my opinion. So Hutchinson currently 3rd place out of the AMs, and Prieto 7th place out of the pros, but they score points for their overall class, car class position, and so there's a lot at play in this fight.
As we've seen on our Daniel Craft update, he is catching David very quickly. He'll be on him this lap for sure, and he's making his way through nicely actually. Every time I check in, he's gaining at least 6 tenths a lap, I would say, almost, which is quite some feat, and that is going to, like you say, all the way up to the top 5. He has tremendous pace over.
No pit stops yet for the LMP3s, and we are now at 37 minutes and 20 seconds, so we've got to the halfway point in the race, so everyone can do a 1-stop.
Okay, so Thomas was misinformed by his fuel cap.
Yeah.
Understood. Okay. Oh, as we're seeing...
So Prieto is exactly putting it in half, 37.5 minutes into the race. He's got 37.5 minutes to go.
Yep, very well done. So any LMP3s that are going along now have been fuel saving. So let's see. LMDh is what? We got another, say, 5 odd minutes, 7 minutes till we start seeing.
Ooh, I think Cross is going to gain a place here. They're 3 wide, and everyone manages it very well. That was where I think Pure Sims won the title in that part of the circuit in the Apex Racing League Endurance Championship a few months ago.
Him getting past David Vey.
Yep. But yeah, in terms of MDH pit stops, yeah, I think 10 minutes is probably as far as they'll be able to go.
We're seeing Thomas Hansen pitting. Tom Stevens is in the pits. Mac Farquhar from LMDh is in the pits. Hugo Prato is heading out of the pits, as we saw him boxing earlier.
And good news for State and 410 is that they've been able to build a bit of a gap now to Sedgley. So I think Sedgley sort of nailed them in the pit stops back at Spa by taking a shorter pit stop, as Madsen takes the lead for the very first time in this race. Wow. When we've seen him following behind so far, he hasn't really ever got into a position where he could realistically overtake. But this time, he has been able to get past. Could well have been some traffic involved. And Madsen will try to hold that lead going into the pit stop sequence in what could be a decisive overtake.
Yeah, I mean, this is perfect time to get by. If he's been fuel saving for 39 minutes, which I hope he has been, and now he's ahead, and then they box, and you pray you box in the same lap so you can, you know, cover him off. But this could be really good for Nick. But we know Viela's quick. So as they change, they both change lines at the same time, which is, I think only one of them is going to clear an LMP3 here. Oh no, they both do. Wow, some impressive driving. Yeah, no, this is very advantageous time. Oh, as this be Pedro coming into the pits. Adam State, Remy Fortran and Dan Sedgley are coming out of the pits.
All pretty much the same times as well. State 28.7,
looks like
Fortan 28.8, Sedgley a little bit faster, 27.9, but only less than a second faster, so he'll still be slightly detached in third.
Yeah, I'm going to be very interested when we start seeing these LMDHs peel in and see their pit stop times. As I say, I do think that's where we'll see the largest variation in fuel saving. Let's see, Paul Busby is now sub 10 seconds, where we've seen Nick and Viela been battling, so he's brought him a little bit more into the race. Where's our Daniel Craft? He is apparently 5 seconds off the back of... I don't know how to pronounce that name. I'm going to let you. Hozu
Alzagari.
Alzagari, there you go. Okay, and Nick's holding on to this nicely. Oh, Paul Busby into the pits. Let's hope this goes okay for him. As we see another LMP, is that an M3 of Paul Clist into the pits?
Thanks to John Ackers and Clone for subscribing to the channel. Much appreciated, guys. And also do check out the Apex Racing TV social media platforms as well. On Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. So a few more LMDh pit stops now being made. Busby, I think as you were saying before, into the pits. Interesting, Valencia only 36 seconds stationary. We've seen a variance, haven't we, in terms of pit stops? Some 35, some up to 49 seconds.
Yeah, I think this is just fuel. So it can make a big difference. Let's see what Paul manages. He's long. 38, 39, something's wrong. Unless...
Well, if it gets above 50, then something's definitely gone wrong.
Oh, right, yeah, we saw two 49-second pit stops. And yeah, I'm assuming... Speeding on entry, I can assume. Because if you hit the wall, you just take a fast repair, right? So that would be fine. Yeah, something's gone wrong. He's at a minute now.
And we did see a 1:07 for another Joe who we think picked up a penalty. So seeing that he's got 1:06, 1:07. We're expecting him to come out of the pits now, but he's still being held in what must be frustrating for our round 2 of the championship winner, Paul Busby.
Yeah, that's race over. Oh, out of the pits at 1:17. So that's
that could be 40 seconds.
49 and a 40, yeah. Ouch. Easy done. Knew it would happen. Oh, as we've seen Tarowski into the pits. Let's pray his is aiming for, like, I think the aim should be around that 35 second. Let's see. Interesting when we start getting like the Vielas and the Mazdans in, who have definitely been looking after. Oh, as we see Mazdan into the pits, the leader. Oh, that looked quick, but it's a TV cam. But it looked fast in.
It did look fast. And he's taking a wide line as well.
Tarowski, I do as well. I'm just scared to turn. Tarowski with a 38-second pit stop. Got David Vey into the pits as well.
So Tarowski ahead of Valencia. So he was behind Valencia before, I believe. So it looked like he was being held up, but he has been able to jump him by... or maybe he was ahead before, because his pit stop stationary, Tarowski, was longer than Valencia. So maybe he had got ahead before the pit stops. But anyway, he's ahead now, and that will turn into what I believe is 4th position once all the pit stops are sorted. Maybe even third position with the issues for Paul Busby.
Yep, David Zvey's pit stop was 36 seconds, as we've got Mazden, Lorenz, David Favaro, and Al-Zugari into the pits. Oh, next Mazden's pit stop is going long, 39, not the fastest.
That's very beatable, isn't it?
Very, yeah, we're seeing 35s and 36s. Very beatable. And the big shame for him is he was the one following Viella. He had the bigger opportunity here to...
Ooh, that's a big slide. That's another second gone.
Oh, yeah.
He took too much curb through turn 3, and he did well to not completely spin the car.
Yep, I see. 36 seconds, 36 seconds, 35 seconds. Yeah, Nick's going to have lost out, unfortunately, and especially with that slide, as you mentioned. And looks like our final two are in. Final 3. Ibram, Mark Hutchinson, and Marcus Diaz Silva all into the pits.
Dan Sedgley is caught up to Adam State. Now just a tenth of a second. He could well be going for this move here. Sedgley, who's been sat in third position for the entire race, now our 2-time race winner, is making his move, but he's not going to overtake on this occasion. Good resistance from Adam State, who, whilst he'll realise that Fortan is pulling away ahead, he really cannot afford to lose more points to Sedgley tonight after already doing so this season. As the driver behind Viella going a little bit wide, Viella now into the pits, and despite the fact he came into the pits in second position, I think this is going to be enough to take the lead, seeing that he's surely going to have to take less fuel.
No, he came in really early. I think this is very... He had the damage, right? He came in at lap 7, I think.
Viella? This will be his first stop for Viella.
Oh, who am I thinking? So I'm thinking of...
Kraft?
Yeah, of course. Viella will be leading, yeah. Especially with Nick's pit stop. Where is Kraft in all this? Ah, P2, okay.
So he might take the lead for a bit. Not permanently.
Yeah, we know Daniel Kraft's going to be out there, but he's going to need to pit near the end of the race, obviously. Right, yeah, I'm getting my Crafts and my Vielas crossed here.
And, well, Viella now stationing for 30 seconds, so expecting him to launch away within the next 5 seconds. If he launched now, he'd be in the lead. If he launched now, he'd be in the lead.
34.9.
He's going to be... I mean, this could be 5 seconds clear.
Yeah, that's the fastest pit stop, and Nick Mazden's was, 5 seconds slower. This is what I meant about the track. I think I said the pros were almost 4.9 seconds faster than me in the pit stop. It's huge here.
And that is 7 seconds. That's a huge swing.
He had the slide as well, Nick, didn't he, on his outlap? But that's what I'm saying. The guys that prepare the fuel here, it's a short track. There's a lot of traffic, so just being on that throttle, say down the S's, and it's what I was doing in my first race. Oh, as we see, no,
off.
Well, I don't know about off, more like forced off. He was persuaded to not be on the track anymore.
That was Joseph Saul being lapped by, I think it was Adam State and Dan Sedgley. And State is still ahead of Sedgley, and that's not going to help them. They're now 4 seconds behind Fortan. They've lost 3 seconds to Fortan since the pit stops. Yeah.
I'm just trying to work out Daniel Kraft's net position here. Let's say 40 seconds. This is looking good for him.
Yeah, I think he'll be longer than that though for him. I think with the pit stop,
yeah, that's
like 50.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the pace. Let's see. He's been catching, but
he'll be ahead of Busby, so he'll be 8th place, 7th place out of the pros at worst. And so yeah, he'll be in the top 10.
Yeah, that's impressive. Very impressive. Oh, as we see, could we see a 3 wide here? No.
Oh, Viella. Has Viella had an issue? He's off track. Still off track.
Oh, I see.
Oh no! He is in the wall, and we are going to see a change for the lead. Nick Madsen, after looking like he'd lost any chance at winning this race, it has fallen into his lap. And Nick Madsen now with a comfortable advantage due to an issue for Andre Viella, who is still in second position, effectively, but
we will get a replay
potentially with damage. And now, if he has got anything extra, he's got to use it because he's got 8.5 seconds to make up.
I can hear QT in my head screaming karma. It's just weird. Let's see. Yeah, this does bring Nick. Nick's got a tasty lead now. Villa's lost. He was what, 7 ahead, 8 behind. He's lost 16, 17 seconds in that moment. Tarowski is 5 seconds behind him and gaining. I'm looking like Viela's going to
he's in the pits, yeah. Wow.
His pace was slow.
Well, that is our third different leader then who's had issues. Marceau led for a portion, Kraft led for, well, Marceau led for a few meters, Kraft led for a lap, Viela led for half an hour, even longer, 40 minutes, and now it is up to, well, Nick Madsen still isn't leading, but now that Dan Kraft has come into the pits, he will be leading, and well, Kraft should come out with the issues for Viela in 9th position. But Viela, has he taken his faster pair already? It seems like maybe he has done, because he is stationary, which, if he just had damage, he would be stopping and going out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a common rookie mistake, but having your fast repair ticked when you pop for fuel, if you pick up any sort of nick in your car, a 1 second option on iRacing will utilise the fast repair.
Even if you don't pick up any damage, I feel like it might use it.
I thought they fixed that. I thought they fixed it. But, like I say, sometimes it just, I mean, I've seen it disappear before in community events.
So, Kraft, he's going to be behind Hugo Preto still. He's not going to be stationed for that long, is it? Because I think he took some fuel earlier on.
30 seconds.
Kraft now. Oh wow, no, this is good for Kraft, isn't it? He is going to be ahead of Preto after all, and in 4th place, only 16 seconds off the lead. Well, earlier on I said
he's 2 seconds behind Lorenzo.
In 3rd place, and I'm thinking, oh, that might be a really dumb thing to say. But halfway through this race, a bit further than that, and he really could get a podium.
Tarowski just cleared Valencia.
I think Tarowski's been ahead of Valencia for a while.
Oh, well, they
stops.
I could have sworn I just saw them trade positions. I could have sworn I saw it move.
Hey, maybe they changed back again. A few replays. So this is Viela
and Madsen.
Oh, apologies, yeah. So yeah, just used the traffic nicely, didn't he?
Yeah, very nicely. As we look at the move, so this is Madsen on Viela, right, to get the lead. Yeah,
and that was Plist who was around them. Oh, that was very ambitious from Ibram. Very ambitious. I mean, if that's an LMP3, that's ambitious, let alone an LMDh.
Ibram, on, do we know who that was?
It was one of the Porsches. It could have been McFarquhar, I think.
Oh no, the leader lost it out of 5.
And Marco's rule very much remains.
Oh,
did he go slightly wide on the apex there? Or do you think he was early on the power?
I have no words. He oversaved the car. His car was going left and he corrected right. Personally, I wouldn't. I don't know. His car really did bounce up there. What is he actually driving? What car? What is his car?
He's in a BMW.
Oh. Yeah, so was it Ibram that got hit there? Was it Ibram that got hit, or what way round was that? On the replay, did you?
So I think Ibram was the one who was trying to overtake.
Gotcha.
And I think it was Farquhar who he was overtaking. I think it was a Porsche, right? Or it could have been Smerek. Or Loy. Or one of the many Porsches. But he was a lap down, so it was one of the ones that down the order.
So the LMP3s, we've got Sedgley in 2nd now, Adam State in 3rd. So it's all changed. I thought State came into the pits first, and Remy was 2nd, and Sedgley was 3rd.
So going into the pits, I think it was Fortan, then State, then Sedgley.
Okay, so yeah,
Sedgley has got past State, which I don't think we saw. I think it's happened in the last couple of laps. Didn't happen on that lap, but yeah, now up to 3 seconds. So clearly, and we saw this last time out, Sedgley's pace as the race goes on is very, very strong, and State's pace falling away. So State, who led for much of this race, and now 7 seconds behind, and Sedgley with a 5-second gap to make up in the next 25 minutes.
Can we just say Nick Marsden is leading with a 14.5-second gap?
Yeah.
Impressive. That's what this track is about. Manage the traffic well, stay out of trouble, look after your tyres. I would say now the pit stop, but he was slow. 4.5 seconds off the optimal is, as we saw, that's too much, and then losing it on the outlap. But apart from that, it's been a very, very impressive drive.
Madsen, a bit of a veteran in ARL. He has won many races in the Porsche Cups. He won one earlier this year. I think his last race win was back at Silverstone in the Porsche Cups back in I think it was one of the rounds I didn't cover. I think it was early May. Early May it would have been, first week of May. He was his last race victory.
As we ride on board with Daniel Kraft. P5? P4, wow. Wait, no, P5 because of the Tarowski being an AM running second.
And catching quick.
Very quick.
So a second behind. It was 1.5 seconds faster that last tour.
Yeah.
He almost set his fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, Kraft is going to be P3 in 4 laps.
And he's going to be P2 in 5 laps. Okay.
Deal.
I mean, dare I say, I think even 5 laps might be a little bit long. He is that much faster. Or recovery. I mean, he might be within 10 seconds of the lead by the end of this race. If this was only a 60-minute race, then you'd really be, you know, chomping at the bit and trying to get past immediately. But he's got a bit of time to do this.
That's very impressive. Very impressive. Yeah, Nick Madsden's doing everything he needs to, but Daniel's taking it to that next level. He's fast on every lap of the race. He's staying safe and staying out of trouble, but he's also being very quick about it. Yeah, we still don't know what caused. He's the guy that had the weird who stopped for a fast rev. We don't quite know. All we saw is him clip a curb on T3, spin on the grass, come back on, but then box for a fast repair. I found it very, very odd. I can only presume something happened after the recovery that we didn't see, but we was on board with him for a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't see anything on the timing tower either, so yeah, strange one. Here comes Kraft. Will be making this move up now. He's going to look to the inside, and this not quite
thought better
this
of it.
time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's only a matter of time, really.
The guy in front has draft. This is the awkward part. The guy in front, even if he's a step back slower, when you need to overtake, that guy in front has that little bit more pace.
Tiago Marte saying that I led the formation lap, I want the credit. I think that was referencing when I was saying who's led the race. I said that Marte did lead a few meters.
He did.
On the formation lap, the pace car was leading the race, so Kia cannot take responsibility for that one. Jibram Racing, which I assume is James Jibram, saying that he's not happy and yeah, frustrated with the behaviour of the car that he was lapping on that occasion. So yeah, shame for James, and hopefully he has yeah, better results later on in the season.
Yeah, big shame. Yeah, because you almost build up a rhythm with the lappers. Like once you've been on track, especially in an hour, you all expect to be just doing the same things. If I catch you on this corner, you've reacted this way, I do this, and it's difficult if someone overslows or does something. Even if they're trying to be safe, if they don't do something new, it's not good. We all just want to be repetitive at this stage of the race. So we're following Daniel Kraft. This is definitely the fight that's on. We are following P5, but in front of him close is Lorenz 4, Valencia 3, and Tarowski 2. And then Aston is 13 seconds up the way. It's good to watch a 4-car battle with only, what, 18 minutes left in the race? 19 minutes left in the race?
Yeah, not long. Fortin still leading the way in the LMP3s, by the way, and maintaining the gap to Dan Sedgley, 5.2 seconds. There was a little bit of support for Sedgley. Getting up to P2 in the chat, Olympus Esports always big supporters. I'm surprised Thomas Cope isn't actually watching. I haven't seen any messages from... Oh no, it was Thomas Cope who literally said that. Okay. Yeah. Of course, very successful Olympus Esports driver. Yeah, so far, however, he's not making any impression on the race leader in the LMP3. So it doesn't look like it's going to be a third race win out of 3 for Sedgley. Looks like we will have a different race winner in Remy Fortin for the first time this season.
Yeah, obviously traffic can change things.
Well, I think Kraft was going to make that move on Safoli, just as we pulled away. I think he is alongside now going into turn 1, and I think this is a overtaking position now for Kraft. Safoli's going to try to hang on. There was nothing he could do, and Kraft is up to 3rd position. That was good patience and picked up on the mistake from Safoli.
Yep, 4th. Let's not forget Tarowski.
Yes.
Absolutely killing it. 7 seconds ahead in AM, but yeah. P2, the AM driver. He can't be AM for long. He's getting the email. He's getting the email.
The problem is, Tarowski, maybe this has been the long game. He was very amateur in the last season. He won 1 race in the amateurs out of 9 and finished, I think, P2 in the championship, but generally didn't have the best pace.
Oh, he's found
I'd
his
say
car.
he's found his car. Maybe it's the addition of the Cadillac. He was driving the BMW last season because it was the only thing he could drive. And yeah, he's really improved. So I think Balash will keep his status now, but he has improved a lot in the last 6 months.
Okay, you better take it easy. No more two bigger improvements. If he starts beating all these pros, then the email's coming. Navigating traffic as we still follow Tarowski with Valencia behind and Kraft. These three guys are separated by what? 2 seconds. Yeah, Daniel Kraft must be chuffed right now. We're considering what happened.
Yeah,
we can get him in for an interview and ask.
He's not going to be far off the Tour of the Championship after this, is he?
No, not at all.
Because some of the others have had issues. Busby down in 10th place still, so Busby hasn't made any more progress. He, of course, had that really long pit stop, we think a speeding penalty, which lost him 40 seconds. Busby, by the way, is 40 seconds off the lead, so by that logic, he would have been there.
That's crazy. Yeah, he's 40 seconds off the lead.
He was only, he was 9 seconds off Madsen going into the pit stop, and I think if it weren't for...
Madsen lost 7.5, didn't he? To Viella, so yeah.
Viella, yeah. And if it had not been for the 40 seconds for Busby, we'd have saved 2 seconds in the pit stop, throwing the second as well for Madsen's half spin.
Yeah.
And yeah, he would have been very close. Could have been 2 race wins in a row. Instead, he will do well to finish in that.
Then again, that's using Nick's bad pit stop against him to weigh up Paul, but Paul had definitely a worse pit stop, so it swings and roundabouts. Had Paul not messed up his pit one and Nick not messed his pit stop, then Nick would be 6 seconds ahead of him. So,
and I mean, if I had more talent, I'd be leading this field right now and not be here. So
correct, exactly.
Stay this game for a while.
Yeah.
This is the closest battle currently going out on circuit, by the way. There aren't any other closer ones. It's gradually spread out as this race. Hutchinson versus Ferrari, and then Valencia, Kraft and Zafoli. The 2 main battles going on. Kraft's a bit closer this time. He's quarter of a second back, and with Valencia with less of a drop now to Tarowski, because Tarowski's been able to get up the road a bit. It does leave him a bit more vulnerable to Kraft, and now there's a bit of traffic ahead. There might be an opportunity. Here comes Ferrari. I think this is going to be the move on Hutchinson complete, and he is past. We'll have a strong exit as well, and Davide Ferrari is finally past Mark Hutchinson. It's taken him a while, but he's up to 2nd place in the Alps.
Yeah, impressive. This Gaggle is 4 seconds off the group we've been following, Lorenzo, Kraft and Valencia. Oh no, sorry. Off, yeah, that Gaggle in front is only 4 seconds ahead of them. Fortan's leading by almost 6.5 seconds now over Sedgley. So Fortan's really feeling happy right now. How far? Yeah, the LMP3s have got a bit of separation. Thomas Hansen, 8 seconds off. Yeah, so I don't think we're going to see too much in the LMP3s, but traffic affected could be huge. Yeah, Nick Masden, 12.5, almost 13 seconds ahead of Tarowski right now. As we're going to see Daniel Kraft set up Valencia soon. Could be now. Nope, thinking better of it. Kraft does also have to worry about Lorenzo behind him now, so if he's going to make a move, he wants to make it work. Let's see, as we come up to 1, don't think he has the overspeed here to get it done. Oh, just taking a look, I think the ideal plan here is to follow nice, focus on the exit onto the back straight and get him into the last chicane. He'll have the draft. If he's smart, he might even maybe just use attack mode just for the straight.
He manages to get a little bit of a gap now. That's good work.
Traffic give, traffic take, that's how it is.
Every time we're on board with an LMDh car, you are overtaking an LMP3 Evo SR car through that S section. I think that's the 3rd time.
Yeah, 100%.
We've seen that so far tonight. They do just keep on appearing. Shouts out, by the way, to Apex Racing Academy for being another sponsor for the series, and thanks to them for providing some prizes as well for the top drivers and teams in the championships. And of course, Apex Racing Academy delivering setups and data packs for many different cars, including these LMDh cars on iRacing. And with their fantastic setup sync technology, you can get your setups in immediately once you jump into a car. And if you join the mailing list as well for Apex Racing Academy, you can get 15% off your subscription. So yeah, do certainly check out apexracingac.com in order to get a bronze, silver or gold membership.
Excellent. I think I had a silver membership for a very long time. 2 years, I think.
I now get an honorary one. That's one of the perks of
I didn't want to
being on this
mention.
desk.
I didn't want to mention, yeah, the honorary one that I now get. But yes, I had silver for a very long time personally.
Yeah, that gives you access to all the cars. So yeah, it's pretty neat. Bronze just gives you access to one car, which yeah, covers some people, but personally as someone who doesn't have the concentration to focus on one thing for more than 20 minutes, do you need that silver subscription? Kraft having the draft broken to him by Valencia, and it is absolutely pitch black. This is as dark as it's going to get now around this circuit. It does look very nice with the crowds around the track. I know some people may not necessarily have the crowds open or visible for the event, just to make sure that they keep their frames nice, bubbly, that 100 mark or so for the race. But at least on this stream with our very nice PCs here, it's nice and visible.
I've never been tempted to run Petit Le Mans special event with everything on the line, having fake people eating up my FPS. Yeah, if there's no traffic, I don't think we're going to see Daniel Kraft move ahead of Valencia here. Oh, as he blows it deep there.
Wow, nice curse. Nice curse. Lost half a second right there. Busby, by the way, has passed Alzugari. Nice work there from Busby. And Vey's around that margin as well. I don't know where Vey... Maybe Vey was always around those guys, but I saw Busby catching up to Alzugari. I think they've both got past Vey. And Vey's now dropping back behind Viella. I think Vey may have had an issue. So, or maybe I'm misreading the screen. I'm not sure. But Viella, anyway, up to 11th place now overall.
Yeah, running really well. It is a shame. It's unbelievable to see, like you mentioned, 42nd off the lead and a 40-second penalty. Unbelievable. He's going to be ruining that.
40.5 to be precise. He'd be half a second off that. You'd be in the toe.
Unbelievable. So, do we think Kraft for P2? We've got 10 minutes left.
Sure.
For sure.
As I said, I had a lot of doubts as I saw that the gap went up to 4 seconds to Tarowski. He's got past Valencia now, hasn't he? If he's going to make it up, because Valencia's pace, apologies, Tarowski's pace in the closing stages has been really, really strong.
Yeah. No, I personally don't think he can catch Tarowski.
Okay, I'll say he can.
You think he can catch? He can catch him past Pedro, and then build 4 seconds.
Well, yeah, he's going to overtake here, and then he'll pass him on the last lap.
He's been following now for 4 laps. He's had traffic. He blew his opportunity in 5. It's going to be tough. Let's see.
BMW ahead of them, I think, is Marcos Diaz Silva. Might be helping out his Iberian cousin, perhaps, but seemed to help him there. Gave him a nice draft, and it's another lap that goes past where the Purisms esports driver is still in just 3rd place. In the pros, 4th place overall.
He is struggling to pass Valencia, though. He just cannot seem to put a lap together. I know he had the traffic, but then he blew 5 all on his own. Just doesn't seem to be getting done. And this is let, yeah, Tarowski built that gap. That gap wasn't there at 4 seconds. You are right. I'm surprised also. It was close between them all.
Yeah, I mean, 15 minutes ago, it was no sell, wasn't it?
Yeah, the 4 of them. Yeah.
Yeah, so Foley's now actually dropped off this one. He's not part of it. Probably he did close a bit on that last lap.
Yeah, this could be his best opportunity here if he's nice and clean through this double right-hander. Let's see. Nice and calm on the throttle. Yeah. This looks like, oh, he's still a bit shaky on the out. I think he even may have lifted to not go on the grass.
Yeah, he's not gaining anything.
Nope.
Now he's gained 100. There was 0.3 of a second going onto the straight. He's actually losing time now.
Yeah, I don't
he's
think
going
that was
back
his
up
best
over
entrance.
0.3. So maybe he's got a straight. Is he coasting or something? He dropped like another 10th just before the braking zone.
Perhaps. I mean, his pit stop was quick.
But
I mean,
then he took. Yeah.
He
Didn't
didn't
take
take
any fuel at his first pit stop when he took the faster pair.
well, knowing. I mean, yes, you should.
Oh, he's going to launch for it now. And
very
that
nice.
was very good. I didn't think he was far enough alongside. But maybe he was using. Could he have been using the battery a bit tactically there in order to have a better run into turn 1? Because he seemed to have much better.
I mean, that may be what he was doing, but hypothetical. I haven't seen anyone do this. I certainly wasn't doing it. But yes, in theory, he could have broke early and long into the chicane, build up some battery, slip it into attack. But wouldn't you do it the other way around? If you was going to use your attack, you'd use it on the long straight down to the chicane. personally.
Yeah.
And one is a bit of a risk. Blow all that attack, hoping you get them on the in one. So I'm not sure, but I'm not in the race.
3.36 seconds to catch now.
So you're betting P2. I don't think you can catch Roscoe. Let's see.
Let us know on chat what you think he will achieve.
Yeah, Daniel Craft to P2 after pitting on lap. What was it?
Lap 3.
It was lap 3.
One extra pit stop compared to everyone else.
Mm.
A pit stop loss or pit lane transit time here must be something like a 20-second loss.
Unbelievable.
I mean, I'm trying to think how far behind he was. He was 36 seconds off the lead
36, yeah.
at one point, and he's now 15. Admittedly, he did take a slightly short pit stop, I think, because he took a little bit of fuel earlier on, but like that saved him maybe 5 at most.
Yeah.
So really, really impressive from Kraft.
Very impressive. Right, let's check in with the LMP3s. We've got Remy's. Oh yeah, as let's see.
Kraft
Yeah.
just set his fastest final sector of anyone that last time.
He is really closing on Trotsky now. 2 seconds. So if he was lifting, maybe it was for attack, not for fuel, because yeah, he's absolutely flying now. Not looking like a man who's worried about fuel.
Looks like it's going to pretty much finish in the same order in the LMP3s right now.
Yeah.
Fortan
It's held for a
5.8
while.
seconds ahead of Seji, so he's not even losing time to Seji. He's got this one managed, and the French driver who had a fantastic qualifying at Fuji, but then struggled in the race, and then did better in qualifying in Spa, and did better in the race, and then did even better in qualifying at this round, getting pole position and done superb in the race. He's just improved as the season's gone on, Fortan, and he's still nearly 6 seconds clear of the rest. He looks good. Only change that might happen in the LMP3s is Tom Stevens being caught by Bob Humphrey. That last time round, Humphrey was 2 seconds faster. He's 3 seconds behind. So they are teammates. And I think most likely Humphrey will get that 5th position, which is sort of best of the rest, seeing that they're 50 seconds off of the top 4.
Yeah, the top 4 are flying as we are seeing Daniel Craft catch on Tarosky rapidly. The lap time again was 1.2
no.
seconds quicker.
I think Biela's had another crash.
Oh, yes, a solid off track I see on the screen.
It's at turn 1, I think, this time. It's not turn 5, at least.
We'll try and get a replay of see what's happened to Viela.
I don't know if the lap 1 or the race leader's curse continues even when you're not in the race lead.
Does
Or
seem
whether it's just
to.
for people who have been in the race lead.
Yep.
But it seems to have continued.
Right, Craft is in draft range, sub-second, 9/10. Looks like 8/10. Looks like you're going to be correct here.
That last lap was 1/10 off his fastest lap of the race as well.
Yeah.
He's absolutely nailed that one. Meanwhile, Tarosky, some 0.6 of a second off his best lap time. But, I mean, obviously, if it takes him just as long to get past Tarosky as it took him to get past Valencia, then then Tarosky will hold on to this.
Yeah, but it's not looking like that. He's catching too quick, unless it's been traffic every time and Tarosky's just got unlucky. But other than that, the speed of gains he's been catching, it was 4 seconds, and now we're seeing him touching the rear of his car. But it could just well have been bad luck, and then, yeah, Tarosky could hold this. Let's see. It's going to be a good battle to follow, as we've got, 2.5 minutes left? 3 minutes.
Yes, so that is this lap and 2 more after this lap, I believe.
Yeah, I suppose.
But yeah, basically 3 laps to go. By the way, Ferrari versus Hutchinson going on, and Ferrari, I think, just game past Hutchinson on that last tour of the circuit. So Ferrari up to 2nd place out of the AMS, or maybe just pulling away. In fact, yeah, I think he's just pulling away. In fact, past Hutchinson.
Nick's maintaining his 11-second lead, so he's very comfortable, just cruising home, avoiding traffic. Not long to go now. As long as he's got his fuel in order, he's absolutely fine. Right, as we go on board with Daniel, who is...
Oh dear, Ferrari's, I think Ferrari's just had an issue as well.
Ah,
He's crashed. And States, I think, has had an issue as well in LMP3. I wonder if those two...
yes, I wonder if they're related.
They are, yes, they are next to each other on the circuit. It seems like Ferrari maybe has tried to lap him, and they've had no.
As we're seeing Daniel not make the gains we would expect. Maybe there is a little bit of fuel management to be done at this late stage, and he's just going to time it. But yeah, I cannot believe we're sat here talking about Daniel Craft getting P2 after him quite clearly being, what, 36 seconds behind with a tall order ahead of him.
Yeah.
Very impressive run. I think I predicted at the time 7th, I think, or 8th was the best he could hope for.
Yeah, at one point I was saying, oh, he might get top 10. And to be fair, I think 15 minutes in choice, I said he might get a podium out of this.
Yeah.
Which immediately felt dumb, but it wasn't.
Nope.
It was an underestimate, potentially. 3.5 tenths of a second back. He needs to be, honestly, like when he was 3 tenths behind going onto the back straight, he still wasn't close to making the move. So unless he's got something extra, he sort of needs to be within 2 tenths, I think, honestly, or just get the move done into turn 1, or use the traffic, which is coming up ahead of him.
Yeah, I listened intently there. He's not lifting. There is no fuel saving there. And that is definitely where you would do it if there was fuel to save. So this is full push to the end.
And last lap as well.
Ooh, last lap. Here we go. This is good, following on board with Daniel. To come to turn 3, blind corner.
This is where he's faster. He takes more curb at turn 3. It really helps him, but there's nothing he can do with it. Oh, here we go. This could be the move around the outside. And that is brilliant work from Dan Carr to use the hesitancy of Turovsky to his advantage and straight past.
You wanted to see a mugging. We didn't expect it to be on white flag.
Wonderful stuff.
But wonderful. Very brave. Very brave. To come all that way and risk it. But obviously he made the risk worth. Let's see. He does need to keep a good gap here. What's the gap between them? It's close.
2 tenths.
Yeah. I think he's going to be fine as we follow the leader around the last 2 corners.
What a win for Nick Madsen. It's his first win in 6 months and his first race win in the Apex Racing League Prototype Championship. And he takes it comfortably, 9 seconds clear of the rest of the order. Kraft still 2 tenths of a second ahead. He's got enough.
Yeah,
and from
impressive drive.
Outside the top 15, from 35 seconds off the lead, he takes 2nd place. Paul Busby had an issue in the late stages, so I think he's going to hold on to 6th position out of the pros. And it's going to be a first-time race win for Remy Fortin in his debut ARL season as well. And on the 3rd time of asking, he has taken it at Road Atlanta. He beats championship leader Dan Sedgley by 2.5 seconds. And that is a testament to just how impressive Fortin has been in these opening few rounds of the championship. And in the amateur class in the LMDHs, Blaž Turovsky, we saw him follow behind Kraft, we should say Turovsky, winner out of the LMDH apps.
Yeah, may not get the credit, but what a drive from the LMP3 leader Fortin. Dominant display there.
And under pressure, for the whole race. I mean, he was leading for 90% of the race, but he never blinked.
No, never blinked. Everything was very well done. Where did Paul Busby finish 32 seconds off the lead? I think he's going to be gutted to know he had everything he needed, apart from...
Was he really only 32? Wow.
Yeah, he just carried 3 or 4 kph too much into the pit road and cost him the win.
Maybe it was for, I think that was an off for someone. I thought Busby went off at the end, but I think it may have been Ferrari who went off. And I think Busby... I'm not sure. All their lap times are fairly similar, so I'm not 100% sure there. But yeah, Busby could have well been there. So too could have Marteau.
You think?
He continued to put by 3/4 of a second, most likely. Frustrating round for a few of these guys, eh? But it was Madsen. He didn't make any mistakes and actually set the fast lap of the race as well on the last lap at 1:06.0. So
oh, brilliant!
He was holding back a bit and then absolutely deployed everything on the last lap.
Yeah. Actually, remembering to stick the car in attack on that last lap and a half is an important thing, because the car will always maintain a minimum to keep lapping. So it's good to dump it out on those last lap and a half, 2 laps.
Well, we'll go to a quick advert and then we'll have a chat with a few of our drivers and wrap up this round 3 of the championship. Welcome back to the Apex Racing TV esports studio. Our first 75-minute race of the season certainly did not disappoint, and it was Nick Madsen winning in the end in the LMDh Pros. And, well, it was Remy Fortin taking his first ever race victory in the LMP3s as well. Let's have a look at the final standings. And I won't go through all the names to avoid embarrassment for myself with my mispronunciation. But there was Madsen ahead of Kraft and Turoski top of the LMDh AMS. And yeah, like I said, Fortin winner of the LMP3s ahead of Sedgley and State. Rounding up the top three, Sedgley still the championship leader in the LMDHs. I think Kraft might be championship leader now after that, but it'll be close. Busby will be up there, even Madsen will be up there as well. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff. And yeah, like I said, still championship lead for Sedgley after round 3 of the season. But we will have a chat with a few of our drivers, and well, I'll let you have first picks. David, who would you like to have a chat with first?
Who have we got? I'll take Paul, please, if there's Paul.
Excellent stuff.
Hey, Paul, can you hear me okay?
Yep, all good.
Hello, mate. Obviously, congrats on the race. I'm assuming a speeding penalty.
Yeah, I actually got it stopped before the line, and then I pressed my pit button again, put my foot on the throttle, and all of a sudden I looked at my thing and I was doing 90-something kilometers an hour.
And I'm guessing it cost you, what, 40 seconds?
Yep, and I finished, 32 seconds behind the lead?
32 seconds behind the lead. Yeah, what a shame, mate. I did mention it at the beginning. It is a difficult pit entry. Obviously, your situation was a little different, but it's a stressful entry, right? It's an S. You're worried about locking. You're worried about the tight turn, not turning too much, and maybe that just impacted why you pressed the pit limiter late rather than early. You know, just it's a lot to deal with. I messed up plenty of pit entries this week.
Do you know what I think it was? Normally, I don't press the pit button early, right? But
yeah,
this time I did it while I was on the way down the chicane. So then when I've crossed the cones, I've then pressed it again thinking, oh, I need to turn it on. And I've already had it on. And yeah, to be honest though, I'm really happy with my pace. I think the second half of the race, I was pretty much fastest out on the track for most of it. Felt really good in the car. It's the most comfortable I felt in the car. I mean, this is all a big learning curve for me. I've been an LMP2 guy for forever. So yeah, really happy. Just a bit gutted about the end result, really.
Yeah, it's a shame. Now, you did do well. How was it out there with the LMP3s? Because obviously I know the LMP2s and GT3s well with the LMDHs, but how was it out there with LMP3s?
It's easier than with GT3s. They've got better apex speed and they're quicker through the S's. But like, I'm not going to fire any shots, but there was a couple that were a bit dangerous out there. But then there was also a couple of prototypes that were as well. So
Gotcha.
it's all part of the fun, right?
Yeah, for sure. Right, any shout out to anyone there? Anyone you want to give a shout out to?
I want to give a shout out to Josh, who I don't know if you guys caught it at the start, but my PC glitched out on the parade lap, and I hit him in the side and gave him wheel damage before the race had even started, which basically killed his race. So yeah, massive shout out to Josh. He's not an happy bunny at the moment, but
I bet.
I'm sorry.
Gotcha. All right, Paul, thank you very much, mate. Congrats, unlucky on the pit. Yeah, on to the next, mate.
Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Cool, so next up, we've got 2 of our race winners, which is pretty cool. I think the first one we'll drag up is our pro race winner. It is Nick Madsen who joins us now. Nick, congratulations, great to see you back on the top step of the podium. That must feel very satisfying. You had fantastic pace tonight.
Yeah, it's amazing to finally find out how this car is driven. I've been struggling a lot the first 2 races and also in official races to find a good rhythm and the speed also. But today was really good. Also, I really love Road Atlanta.
Do you think, I assume because of Petit this weekend, you've maybe put a bit more practice into this round? Do you think that was the difference, or do you think it's just this car track combination that you really enjoy?
Yeah, also a bit more practice. I've been busy last few weeks with stuff. But yeah, practice always makes you even better, always.
And how was it in that first stint following behind? You were just in second position for pretty much that entire first 40 minutes. Was there any fuel saving involved? I mean, were you pushing 100%? What were sort of the tactics in that first half of the race?
I made a quite good start, and some cars was going off, and I tried to follow the guy in front as good as I could. I was really surprised that I actually could follow him, because to follow other cars in this series is quite difficult, also with a lot of traffic. But in my opinion, I have always been good in traffic. So yeah, I was trying to manage my tires a little bit, and yeah, make a good strategy also for the race.
Yeah, it worked very well for you on that occasion. And now, I mean, looking forward to the rest of the season, you've got a race win under your belt. I mean, do you think you can potentially take the charge now for the championship and battle for the title?
Yeah, I really don't know. I'm still learning in this car. It's really tough going from Porsche Cup to this car. It's a total different driving style. Yeah, and there's always something to improve, and I need to find more speed. Still, I got P1 today, but yeah, especially in qualify, I'm struggling a little bit.
Well, congratulations on the results tonight, Nick. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, my team. Unfortunately, my teammates could not be here tonight. They have been pushing me in the beginning of the season with some great results. Max taking P2 last round. So yeah, it's always good to have some teammates to get yourself up to.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming up and having a chat with us, Nick, and best of luck for next week.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Nick Madsen there, your overall race winner. I think we just got one more interview with a man that I think you were mentioning you've raced earlier this week.
I believe it was him.
Turoski.
Yeah. I believe it. Balazs, can you hear me okay? Balazs, can you hear me okay there? Turoski?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Congratulations on the AM win, mate. How was the race for you?
I mean, pretty tense, I'd say, with the traffic and just the nature of the circuit. But yeah, it was all good in the end.
Yeah, an amazing AM win, and you was up there with the pros. I mean, you were P2 with obviously I don't want to bring it up with one lap to go. How was the move from Daniel? I assume you noticed he was coming in hot.
Well, yeah, it was obvious because I got stuck behind a lap car, and there was nothing I could do. I didn't want to fight it too much, because to throw it away on the last lap would have been not good. So I just sat behind. Maybe I tried on the back straight to get him back, but there was nothing I can do at that point. So
Gotcha.
yeah, it is what it is.
How you finding the Caddy? Is it a car you've been using a lot? Are you doing Petit Le Mans?
Yeah, I am with my team, but we are using the BMW actually. I would have wanted to use the Caddy, but because I have a lot more experience with it, but because of the BOP, we thought it was the better choice. But yeah, I've been driving it a lot recently with ARL and just IMSA races, so I'm getting a lot more confident.
I think we raced this week, me and you.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think you got me. If I remember after the pit stop, you got me.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but yeah, I know we had a race. Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of IMSA.
Yeah, same. It was nice. Yeah, I mean, congratulations on the AM win, and good luck on next week. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, sure. Why not? My team. Let's hope we do well on Petit Le Mans as well.
Yeah, best of luck to you guys. Congrats. Good luck on next week.
All right.
And Petit. Cheers.
Yeah, fantastic result for Turoski, getting his second race win of the season in the AMS, and yeah, it'll be a decent margin ahead now in the AMS Championship points. He is looking very strong on that front. But that pretty much wraps us up then for this broadcast. After this, tune in 20-30 minutes, because we will have the return of the late Apex, which will be myself and David sat here and we'll be discussing all the latest news in the sim racing world, including iRacing's ties with NASCAR, the new Forza Motorsport release, and everything that's gone on Apex Racing Team and Apex Racing League and Apex Racing TV as well. So do make sure to keep tuned on all of that. That'll be getting going in about 20 or 30 minutes time. But of course, do make sure to like this video if you have enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. Check out our social media pages as well on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Big thanks to Apex Racing Academy, to SDK Gaming, and to Virtual Racing School for supporting us for this stream and this series as well. But for now, from myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, and from David Sampson, we are going to say goodbye, and we'll see you back next time for round 4 of the season. See you then.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.